In debt? In too deep? Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union says, stop treading water and get out of the deep end. If you've got debt, make a splash and come get some cash. If Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union can refinance your car, boat, camper, motorcycle, credit cards, personal or home loan, they'll pay you up to $500. So come take the plunge right now. Refinance your loans. Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union will pay you. 5 convenient locations. Visit atfcu.com. Equal housing lender.
When I made the move to my own studio, I was worried about this. I was worried about that. I was worried about, hey, did I get this piece of equipment? Did I get that piece of equipment? Does that sound good? Does that not sound good? One thing I didn't have to worry about, that was office furniture, because Office Furniture Outfitters met my furniture needs. With a 50,000 square foot facility, they have East Tennessee's largest selection and are the best value for new and used office furniture. Located in Knoxville, it's easy to find everything you need for your new space, including desks, file cabinets, chairs, conference tables, and more. Office Furniture Outfitters is turnkey. They came to my place, we mapped everything out that was needed, they delivered, and get this, set everything up. To learn more about what Office Furniture Outfitters can do for you, log on to ofonox.com. That's ofonox.com.
Deep down the middle's got his man, and he's gone. Jason Swain, touchdown.
It's time for the Swain event.
Guess what time it is? My time. You can check your iPhone. Better say it's our time.
With your host, Jason Swain.
My man.
Real sports talk for the real sports fan.
All you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him.
It's time for the Swain event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Give me 2 pounds and a Rick Flair.
Swain Event and SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. It is hump day. 3 minutes past the top of the hour, August 7th, 2019. And we got plenty to discuss. If you are a Tennessee fan of any sport, you should be riding high this morning because Tennessee just added another baller to the athletic program here on the Hill. Basketball, blue chip recruit, big time player, surprise, by the way, Keon Johnson from the good old state of Tennessee made his announcement yesterday committing to Tennessee, giving Tennessee basketball a top 5 recruiting class. Ben, Rick Barnes has a top 5 recruiting class.
He does. Yesterday was a rough day for the Rick Barnes can't recruit crowd, and the Rick Barnes is just mailing it in at Tennessee. He doesn't care. He doesn't have that same energy. Rough day for those two crowds yesterday.
I don't think that crowd exists anymore. I think they have slid into the bushes like Homer Simpson.
They have, but they were out in full forces in the first couple of years under Rick Barnes, and I want to remind them of how stupid they looked for blaming a coach for not bringing in 5 stars to a program that had 4 coaches in 4 years. No, 3 coaches in 3 years. Had not sniffed out the NIT in 2 years. The roster was terrible. They simply needed to win in order to bring in the 5 stars. Most of these 5 stars in basketball are only going to play 1 year. And yes, these two, Keon Johnson and Corey Walker, the 2 that Tennessee has committed, they may play more than just 1 year, and they are high-level 4 stars. But at max, they're playing 2 years, and they don't want to spend 2 years at a program that isn't even sniffing out the NIT, doesn't have a great track record of player development. So I like to remind people of overreacting, because there was a ton of overreaction when Rick Barnes first got hired to his lack of recruiting, and I don't believe it was his fault. Never did at the time. Still don't think it was. But yesterday was a great day for Tennessee basketball. It was beautiful, and I was stunned at 7:00 Eastern when Keon Johnson picked Tennessee.
I've been doing radio 9 years. One thing that I've noticed is sometimes the people that talk the loudest know the least amount of information.
Mm-hmm.
And there's sometimes a very loud minority too. And then, Rick Barnes' case, very loud minority that question his recruiting efforts. And these are folks who's never been recruited before. How do you know about recruiting if you've never been recruited before? Not saying that you have to be recruited to know about it, but those sometimes are the loudest people, and they simply are clueless. You don't have to be young, hip, know the latest hip-hop song to relate and recruit young basketball players. What you have to be is pure. If you're pure, it doesn't really matter how old you are. If you're pure, you have a kid's best interest in heart, and you can make them a better player. Doesn't matter what sport it is. If you can make me a better player, I want to play for you. Like, I want to play for you if you're going to make me a better player. What Rick Barnes adds to the table is he is going to make you a better man. And that's why Rick Barnes was so important to keep in the community of Knoxville, because not only was he winning basketball games, but he was pouring back into the Knoxville community and making the community better. That's what Rick Barnes brings to the table. And that's what Keon Johnson and others who have signed recently that could have went to other top programs, that's what they saw. That's what they saw. And Keon Johnson committing to Tennessee makes Tennessee a program in the same conversation, at least the recruiting rankings, as Kentucky and Duke and some of the big dogs out there.
Mm-hmm.
Keon Johnson is from Tennessee, but he did pick Tennessee over the national champion Virginia Cavaliers.
Yeah.
And so that tells you a lot. Virginia has a wonderful basketball program. They've been knocking on the door for years and years and years. They have a culture. They have an awesome coach. They're not going anywhere. For Tennessee to be right there and get a player against Virginia is huge. And it's a player right here inside the state. We've seen players leave the state to go to big-time programs. Brandon Wright from Middle Tennessee, Nashville, left the state to go to North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen players leave this state. And, Memphis is a basketball town. It's hard to recruit against Memphis. And Memphis is doing a really good job recruiting Penny Hardaway. But you can't take anything away from what Rick Barnes is doing. And you should be excited about Tennessee basketball. You don't have to pick a sport and be loyal to that sport. You can have two bays. You can have two boos. It could be basketball and football.
This is the one instance where it is okay to have two girlfriends.
That's right. It could be basketball and football, or
Absolutely.
two boyfriends if you are
Yes.
a female fan. You can have them all.
Yes.
So you should be excited right now that Tennessee is an attractive place. And so reminder to give kudos to everyone that was involved for making sure Rick Barnes stayed here at the University of Tennessee. Coach Former, to Randy Boyd, who I saw around and about last week in Knoxville.
He's everywhere. Everywhere you go, you see Randy Boyd.
Yeah, I saw Randy Boyd last week. I was checking him out.
He's a very nice man. I worked for him at the Tennessee Smokies for 2 years, and obviously he owns the Smokies, but he was always around and helping out and not afraid to get his hands dirty and just pick up trash on the concourse and just little things like that. It wasn't beneath him. So I'm a big Randy Boyd fan. But Keon Johnson was as must get of a recruit as possible. I mean, he's 3 hours away in Shelbyville, Tennessee, Bell Buckle, Tennessee, whichever one you want to say. Went to the Webb School there. You can't let an elite talent like that leave the state when he's that close to campus, because those guys are few and far in between. And so kudos to Rick Barnes. I think it says a lot about the basketball program as a whole that even though Rob Lanier, Tennessee's best recruiter, left to go to Georgia State, they were still able to land Keon Johnson. Maybe it'll be more impressive if they land Jaden Springer or P.J. Hall or somebody else because Keon Johnson is so close to home and he's been trending to Tennessee for quite some time. But just a remarkable get for the basketball program. And 2 top 40 players in this class, that's remarkable. And hopefully they are not done yet. Jaden Springer, P.J. Hall are going to be 2 really hard players to reel in. But Tennessee's in the Final 5 for both of them, and that's all you can ask for at this point.
Keon Johnson, 4-star shooting guard, 27th overall player, according to 247 Sports, 6'5", the 5th shooting guard in the entire class. The composite, the 24/7 composite, which takes the other recruiting services, and you get the average of the ranking. They have him at a 31st ranking. Home state. Coach Rick Barnes is a great coach. He's very hard on his guys, but he loves his guys as well. I was reading on VolQuest Rob Lewis's article where a day when he was watching practice and Rick Barnes made Grant Williams run stadium steps
For turnovers.
and that stood out to him because you're coaching your best player the hardest, and sometimes your best player gets a pass. Sometimes the best player gets a pass, and that sends a terrible message to everyone else, and that negatively affects the culture. When you're able to coach your best player the hardest, and your best player is coachable, and he buys in, every player can be coached hard, and that's when the culture can be positive, and players can coach each other. Players can hold each other accountable. In 2015, I mean, you had your star running back missing practice when he wanted to miss practice. You had players missing practice when they wanted to miss practice on a football team, on the football side of it. And that's never good for the culture. When you're able to coach your best player the hardest, you got something. I remember in high school, my head coach set me down one day, and this was after, I was a freshman, sophomore, whatever, and I had a couple incidents where I just felt like the coach was on me way more than everybody else. Like, dude, y'all just ran me into the ground on Friday night. Like, I'm sore. I'm super, super, super sore. And we were working on a play, and I didn't catch the ball and sprint upfield 15, 20 yards. I caught the ball and kind of went upfield like 5 or 10 yards. And coach was like, do it again. So I did the same thing. Caught the ball, went up 5 yards. Said, do it again. Caught the ball, went up 5 yards. And he sent me in the locker room. I just wasn't feeling it that day. I wasn't feeling it at all. And when we talked, he was like, listen, man, you the best player in this team. I have to be able to coach you the hardest. And here's the reasons why. And from that moment on, I got it. I understood. Culture. And Rick Barnes has a culture that's attractive, and you don't need to be Penny Hardaway to get recruits. Even though Penny is getting recruits, it's other ways to do it. You don't have to have your own shoe brand. You don't have to have your own style or whatever. You can do it being a coach that's coached this game for 40 years or 30 or 40 years, who cares about people and cares about developing not only the basketball players but men. And he has a higher calling. It's not just about basketball for him. Yeah. So
he was sold on Rick Barnes' honesty.
Yeah, man.
His player development. How can you not love Rick Barnes' player development after you look at 4 guys with a chance to make an NBA roster this October, and Kyle Alexander, Grant Williams, which for what to Grant Williams for putting on a Red Sox jersey? I've never been more disgusted with Grant Williams in my life. And then
business, man, it's business.
I don't care.
Inky Johnson in Alabama football video.
Shame on Inky. Well,
it's business.
I don't mind him. It doesn't bother me.
It's business. So
was he wearing an Alabama shirt? I don't think he was. So
when he goes to speak, he usually wears a shirt of the team.
He does, but I don't think I saw him in the Alabama shirt. I don't blame him for going and speaking to Alabama. If there is a school that needs Inky Johnson, it is the University of Alabama.
Hey, you can't give Grant Williams for what? It's
no,
business.
I am. I don't care, dude. 100% serious. If I was drafted by the Celtics, and I had to throw out the first pitch, I would not put on the Red Sox jersey. 100%. I would still be a diehard Yankees fan. I promise you I wouldn't.
It sounds good, man.
No, unless they absolutely made me, and it was like in my contract that I had to do it, I promise you I wouldn't.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I'm telling the truth. But
you're gonna pass up endorsement deals in that city. You're gonna pass up
by not putting on a Red Sox jersey once for a first pitch. That's gonna cost me endorsement deals
in that city. It's gonna open up opportunities and doors. You ingratiate yourself to that city, that community. It opens up doors. Look at Alvin Kamara, look at Zion Williamson. When they hit New Orleans, they are set. You better bow down. You better show that community you love them, and they'll show you that they love you back, and that will open up opportunities.
I mean, I'll show them that I love them in other ways. I'm not wearing that Red Sox jersey. But my original
whatever.
Keon Johnson was impressed with Rick Barnes' honesty and how he holds players accountable. He told the story about Grant Williams and how he was running at practice one day because he had been turning the basketball over. Loved Rick Barnes' player development, wanted to stay close to home, and Tennessee pursuing Keon Johnson since his sophomore year really paid off for Tennessee. That was before he had kind of reached that 5-star status. So great work by Tennessee, and he's a great athlete. He bounces off the ground. You go watch his highlight tape. He bounces off the ground with ease and a lot of putback dunks, a lot of really nice dunks. He has the tools to be an elite defender on the perimeter. Long, lateral quickness. He reminds me of what Jordan Bowden is. I think he could be the next Jordan Bowden, maybe even a little bit better just because of his natural athletic ability.
I saw a comparison to an NBA player. I know he defensively he's really, really good, long, athletic. He's going to fit right in with this basketball team because that's what I'm hearing about this basketball team. I got a chance to chop it up with the great Tony White a couple months ago at lunch, and that's what he was telling me is that this team is long, tall, athletic.
And they work hard.
Lamonte Turner is the shortest dude, but everybody else is like 6'5" and above and tough as nails, buys in on the defensive end. So basketball season is going to be fun. Mm-hmm. Tennessee football team hit the practice field yesterday. And, I want to talk about timing. I think timing is everything. Timing is important. You are where you are maybe in your life just because of timing. Where you went to school, where you got a degree, the family that you may have. You may have met your wife at the perfect time. Timing is everything. Timing, you may avoid a car accident by a split second. Timing is everything. And I want to talk about timing, which we'll do after our first break here in the Swain event. Hour 1 is brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. 865-200-5503 is our telephone number. B-Drive Waterproofing Hotline. Stay with us.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
Hey y'all, check it out. Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue has a brand new happy hour special right now that you don't want to miss. Get $2 off of their fantastic barbecue queso appetizer from 2 to 4 p.m. That's queso loaded with your choice of pork, chicken, or brisket and served with Frito scoops. And for the rest of the month, check out their new Pig and Peaches salad for $11. This thing is loaded with salad mix, grape tomatoes, fire-roasted peaches, pickled red onions, pork belly burn-ins, goat cheese, and topped with a delicious balsamic vinaigrette. Dead End Barbecue. The barbecue search is over.
You're driving home, flashing blue lights in your rearview mirror. You pull over, step out of your car, and the next thing you know, you're being arrested for driving under the influence. Now what do? We all should be responsible. But remember, just because you're arrested doesn't mean you're guilty. Call criminal defense and DUI attorney Marcos Garza at 865-540-8300. The investigative teams at the Garza Law Firm know the justice system inside and out. They utilize cutting-edge technologies and investigative methods to prepare your specific case. Before you plead guilty to any criminal charges, call criminal defense and DUI attorney Marcos Garza. Put his number in your phone right now, 865-540-8300, because you never know when you or a friend will need it. Don't say guilty. Say Garza. 865-540-8300. 865-540-8300 and GarzaLaw.com.
While the other guys are taking guesses, the Swain event is taking you behind the scenes and in the huddle every morning from 7 till 10 right here.
Guys, have you noticed lack of energy, motivation, and drive? It could be low T or something else like sleep apnea or even low thyroid. It starts with a quick and easy health assessment to better understand your health. And now they treat more than just low T, including sleep apnea, low thyroid, and more. It is covered by most health insurance. So if you've been feeling grumpy, tired, have you noticed a weight gain or loss of muscle, call 865-392-1388 or go to lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
As summer selling season heats up, here are 3 home features buyers are loving. Borrow a few or all of these to potentially up the appeal and value of your home. Number 1. Get back to basics. Never underestimate the power of a nice walkway, quality mulch, some flowering shrubs, and a couple of nice planters. Number 2, embrace a new neutral. While beige and white are classic, new neutrals are trending. Opt for soft grays, or you can even try a neutral blue. Number 3, open space is all the rage. Homebuyers are still on the hunt for open concept floor plans. Even if your rooms are enclosed, mirrors and ample natural light can help open up your space. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, you need a professional that will be by your side every step of the way. Call me, Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty at 865-694-5904 or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com.
You're listening to the Swain event.
And you know this, man.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com. Hiller powers our one here. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Home of transparency pricing. What is transparency pricing? That is simply when you know the cost of everything that you're paying for up front. See, other companies, they just give you an invoice with one total price. And that price could be $100, $200, $300 more than what it should be. And sometimes you would never know the difference. But Hiller, they'll give you a breakdown of every single item that is used for the repair of your home. So you know the cost of this part, you know the cost of that part. Companies get real slick sometimes with buying a part at a very cheap price, charging you 20 times more, and you never know the difference because there's not any detail on the invoice. But with Hiller, you know everything, man. You know how much each individual part cost, and then you know the total price. And that total price is still going to be less than the other guys. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, who sponsors our one here on the show. Yesterday, the Tennessee Vols hit the practice field. You saw a practice video. I saw my man Jawan Jennings hitting a little out and up. I saw the guys working on the deep throw, which is what I want to cover in this segment. Timing. You're battling soreness. You are maybe battling a turf toe. You're going to have bunions on your toes. You're going to have some sore feet, wide receivers. Quarterbacks throwing a lot of balls. The arms may be a little sore, but you still got to work through it. You still got to fight through it. And the deep ball is going to be very, very important for us this year. Very important. I don't think there's anyone listening. I know there's not anyone in this room that feels like Tennessee is going to line up and just smash people for 4 quarters running the football. It's hard to go from 113th in the country rushing to top 30 or 40. And in this conference, you got to be able to run the ball when it's time to run the ball. But what about the rest of the game? Explosive plays is going to be something that we will have to execute. What was the difference in an Auburn game?
The deep ball.
We got turnovers. We took care of the ball, but it was the explosive plays. It was the deep ball. Whether it was the back shoulder to Jawan Jennings or the seam route to our running backs lining up in the wing formation, it's about explosive plays. And that takes a tremendous amount of pressure off of your offensive line. When you got to go 4 yards every play, that makes it tough. It makes it tough to have a 15-yard drive because someone may hold, sending you back 10 yards. Someone may have a false start, sending you back 5 yards. 11 guys all doing their job, and every play is executed perfectly for a 15-play drive. That's hard to do. So you need explosive plays. So it's not a secret that when you hit up practice and you see the quarterbacks and the receivers throwing, you ain't watching any 5-yard hitch routes. You're not watching any bubble screens. You're watching deep passes because timing is very, very important. Now, Jared has a big arm. He can throw it. Throws a pretty ball. It's a spiral every time. But sometimes Jared fails to put enough air under it, the ball. And that's where you work on that and you develop that timing. You have Marquez Callaway, number 1, who's 40, went from probably a 4.5 during his first couple of years here at Tennessee, being to a 4.4 flat.
That's fast.
That is really fast. So Jared is throwing to Marquez Callaway on the go route in one play. Another play, he may be throwing to number 5 on the go route, who probably runs in a full 4 range as well. Then he has to throw the ball to number 15 on the go route. So there is a difference, okay? You may have to lay the ball out a lot more to number 1, number 5, but number 15, you may have to take something off of it a little bit because he's just, Jawan's not as fast as Callaway and Palmer. So a lot of the videos you saw yesterday floating around of deep balls were our quarterback and receivers getting used to each other catching a deep ball. I saw a couple crossing routes yesterday, and we have, I won't say a quarterback like Josh Dobbs, but Jared is mobile and able to throw and run. So play action pass is going to be super important for this football team. It's going to be the more we are successful running the football, the more effective our play action pass can be. So we got to run the football. We got to at least pose a semi-threat to linebackers and safeties. In doing so, you open up windows and open up holes in the passing game when you go play action pass. Now, when you go play action pass and you're throwing the ball crossing routes, this is when you have receivers, it can be tight end, it can be running backs, who are running horizontally, sideline to sideline. So you have vertical routes, you have horizontal routes. Horizontal routes go sideline to sideline. So sometimes you could be watching the practice video and not hear the coaches say, here's the play, here's the coverage. Spider wide 3 banana. This is cover 3. And so if you have a crossing route, you have an understanding of where the holes are, where the defenders are going to be. So the coaches are making sure that mentally you're taking notes and you're thinking about the progression. You're thinking about where the defense is and your responsibility. They can say, all right, we're running the same play, but it's versus cover 2. Now your route kind of changes. They can say, all right, same play, but it's versus cover 1. Running crossing routes versus man means you stay on the move. You stay on the move, you keep it going. Crossing routes versus zone means you may throttle it down inside of a zone, in between the outside linebacker in the corner, in between the safety in the corner. You may slow it down a little bit, and the quarterback may deliberately throw you on your back shoulder to try to choke you down a little bit. He don't want to throw you into a blow-up.
Like what happened to you in the Penn State game?
That was a little different.
Or the Vanderbilt game?
Yeah. See, the Vanderbilt, the Penn State game, it was a vertical route. The ball was thrown inside too much. The ball should have been thrown more on the hash, but the ball was thrown inside. It led me inside to the safety. But yeah, definitely I was thrown to a blow up. Yeah. And then Vanderbilt in 04 with Rick Clausen. Yeah, it was a high ball. It was a high ball with a hole throw. You kind of want that ball to be a little bit lower, kind of on the back shoulder a little bit. I'm just happy I got the ball. Thank you, Rick. Thank you for hooking the brother up. With all those wide receivers that year, I'm just glad I caught the ball. But yeah, getting thrown to a blow up is not fun at all. But there's things that are said during routes versus air that maybe is not caught on the video. So a throw you may seem behind, but it's really kind of what Jim Chaney and T. Martin want. In other cases, it may not be. It may be a throw out front that we want to see versus a man look. So timing is everything for this passing game. Explosive plays are going to be so important. And I remember in 2004, Auburn, their offensive coordinator, he used to say every game he would have 6, 8, 10, 12 plays. Brand new every single game the defense hadn't seen on film. And these were specials that was created to go out and get 25, 30 yards or even more on that particular play. Jim Chaney, I think, will have to do the same thing. He's going to have to manufacture some big plays because this offense, I don't know if they're going to just line up and just run the ball, whoop people all day long. There may be times when we whoop people, but all day long, I don't know. I don't know if we built that way. So a lot of pressure on Jared Garantano and the wide receivers. Bottom of the hour break here on the Swain event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Oh man, Rev is taking us to Dead End Barbecue tomorrow, man.
He is. I'm excited.
Tomorrow's Thursday.
I'm excited.
We're going Dead End Barbecue tomorrow.
I already know what I'm going to get.
You gonna change it up a little bit?
Nope.
You gonna get the Bernie Mac again?
Yes. See, because this time of the year, I go to Dead End maybe twice a month, once a month, and so I want to get my Bernie Mac fix. But with football season coming up, I know I'm going to be at Dead End quite a bit, at least twice a week usually, at least once a week.
Yeah.
So at that point, I will switch it up. When I'm there more often throughout football season, I'll switch it up.
Yeah, I have a go-to dish that I've been rocking with a lot. Kind of like when you go with your Bernie Mac. So I'm with you, man. I think it's time for me to change it up a little bit too. Hour 1 continues after this.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
We have all made the mistake of dropping or breaking our smartphones. See? But did you know that you can have it repaired for a fraction of the cost that it takes to replace it? Well, you can, because iDrop is the area's leading mobile repair store, home of the 1 hour or less phone repair, 1 year parts warranty, and #1 customer service. Broken screens, cracked cameras, charging ports, batteries, you break it, we'll fix it. If you didn't break your phone, protect it with one of our leading accessories such as LifeProof, OtterBox, UAG, Incipico, Caseology, and Spec. Visit our West Hills location at 7115 Kingston Pike. between Office Depot and Hardee's. Or call 865-888-9740 and speak with our trained technicians to see how we can get your phone working today.
When you see the happy face on our truck, you'll be smiling because you'll know that you're in love.
Tap water often contains harmful chemicals and additives. When you call for your free water test from Hiller, we'll show you exactly what's in your water and how to remove it. Enjoy cleaner, healthier water in your home. Visit happyhiller.com to schedule your free in-home appointment today.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Craving flavors that don't take hours in the kitchen? Mrs. Grissom's cheese spreads and chicken salads are the perfect go-to. Ready-to-eat meals and snacks found in the meat or dairy section at your local grocery store. Whether you crave the classic Mrs. Grissom's pimento cheese or the gluten-free select varieties like the cranberry pecan chicken salad, enjoy small-town flavor in every bite. Select the best. Select Mrs. Grissom's.
We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss stem cell treatment and PRP. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
That's right, Jason. We specialize in regenerative non-surgical orthopedics. So we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints by using ultrasound-guided injections with stem cells or PRP. And this form of treatment actually stimulates the body's own reparative process and allows for healing of the damaged tissue.
So, Doc, what makes your training different than others?
Well, Jason, I've been practicing in Knoxville for 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. So unlike the big seminars that will advertise stem cells, fly someone in for a couple hours to talk about supposed stem cells that you order off of a shelf, then they'll depart, leaving the patient wondering who will be the person injecting me and what their level of training is. At Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own bone marrow stem cells or PRP. So in other words, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, trsportsmedicine.com. East Tennessee's leader in PRP and stem cell therapy.
I'm Vince Moore, wide receiver, VFL 1991, and you're listening to the Swain Event. Around the SEC, powered by 42nd Street Marketing, your game-winning play call for design, marketing, and branding.
Around the SEC is brought to you by 42nd Street. They handle all of your marketing and branding needs. Call Mike at 865-382-7007. Website design, logo design, and print design. If you want a preview of their work, go to swainevent.com. They design everything from top to bottom and from scratch. No templates. Everything from scratch. Every piece of the website was built by 42nd Street based on what I like for the look to be. I want the look to say, oh, that's East Tennessee right there. That's a little East Tennessee right there for you. And SwainEvent.com. Check out the website. You can go there, stream the show. Check out podcasts built by 42nd Street. All right, Ben, what we got around the conference?
It's football season, which means we have a lot. We will start with the transfer portal. South Carolina just added a running back in Tavion Feaster.
It's fall camp, though.
It is, but when you're 4th, 5th, 6th on the depth chart, you're probably not going to win a lot of carries over. So South Carolina running back Levante Valentine has entered the transfer portal. South Carolina's running back room is pretty jam-packed with Rico Dowdle, with Tavion Feaster, and then they also have another senior running back. His name slips my mind at the moment. So this young man was buried on the depth chart. Probably his best interest to look elsewhere. But the weird thing about it is, as you mentioned, it's fall camp. Why are you transferring a week in fall camp?
I guess Feaster coming to South Carolina kind of put the nail in the coffin for him.
Yep. I guess so. At Kentucky, offensive coordinator Eddie Gran mentioned that wide receiver Isaiah Epps has a small fracture in his foot, had a screw placed in it, and will be out about 6 weeks. And that is concerning news for Kentucky fans because only 2 of the top 7 receivers returned for Kentucky this year. Very, very little production outside of Lynn Bowden Jr., and Isaiah Epps was thought to be one of the top 3 receivers. He had 8 catches for 76 yards last year, which is not very impressive, but he was projected to be one of Kentucky's 3 top wide receiver targets. And Lord knows Terry Wilson needs to take a step forward in the passing game this year. Had a high completion percentage of 67% last year, but Kentucky also didn't take too many chances through the air, so it will be interesting to see how Kentucky's passing game looks this fall. Florida lost another player to injury. C.J. McWilliams will miss the 2019 season with a ruptured Achilles tendon.
Hate that for him.
I do as well. Dan Mullen confirmed this on Tuesday. He suffered it in practice on a non-contact play throughout practice. He appeared in 9 games last season, starting 2, and recorded 16 tackles and 4 pass breakups. He was in the rotation at Florida's star or nickelback position. Dan Mullen said it was early in practice, planted and drove and felt the pop. It's a shame. Earlier this summer, Florida reserve corner Brian Edwards announced he would enter the transfer portal and landed at Central Michigan with former Florida coach Jim McElwain. Chris Steele, as we know, and we'll talk about him in just a moment, a top 100 defensive back who enrolled early, transferred from Florida and ended up at USC. And then another nickelback, John Huggins, has been absent from the team because of family reasons. So
they said family reasons.
Yeah.
Florida said family reasons.
Yes, but
Huggins,
according to a police report released this week in response to public records requests, a 19-year-old Florida student said Huggins choked her during a tutoring session last October. Huggins was upset because the tutor took his phone in hopes of ensuring he would stay for the entire session. So he got mad at the tutor for taking his phone because he thought he thought he was going to leave, and he choked her. It was a female, so. So
Tampa Bay Times had an article posted yesterday, and it says 5 Florida Gators have now been accused of violence against women, under Dan Mullen. And Dan Mullen he was put on the spot yesterday.
Yep.
After practice during their media session. And Dan Mullen has an issue on his hands because the narrative has been created on Dan Mullen. You look at Jeffrey Simmons at Mississippi State, and Jeffrey Simmons barely missed a game. He got suspended 1 game versus South Alabama when he was coming into college. He got into a really bad altercation with a female, and he was defending a family member, but he put his hands on a female. And that happened right before he entered Mississippi State. He was a 5-star defensive tackle from that state. He was drafted first round by the Tennessee Titans. But Dan Mullen's punishment was very, very light then. And now at Florida, you're seeing a lot of issues with his players putting his hands on females in an inappropriate way. So what is Dan Mullen and the Florida Gators going to do to change this narrative? One thing they better do is start dismissing people. No questions asked. If you're found guilty, you gotta go. Period. One thing I guess you could do is give the team a curfew, but that doesn't ensure that you're going to stop that. It just hopefully decreases the amount of time guys are out clubs and bars at late night drinking and putting themselves in a position where they're not thinking coherently. But this is not the narrative that you want if you are Dan Mullen. This was, I think, what Zach Smith was talking about. Being a head coach at a program like Florida, being able to handle things like this. Can you handle all the drama at a program like this that has themselves underneath the microscope, and then you are recruiting against Florida State, Miami, Georgia, and all the top programs in America? Let's see how Dan Mullen handles this, but this is not a good look for the Gators.
No, and I guess we won't be able to see how he is able to deal with the drama and focus on football until the season, see how it plays out. So it kind of reminds me of Auburn, or the Tennessee-Auburn game, I should say. Auburn wasn't dealing with this type of drama, but there was a lot of drama going on within the football program. There's a lot of drama going on within Florida's football program. Could that be to Tennessee's benefit here in a month and a half? I think it could, depending on how all of this plays out.
A little different. Auburn's drama was more like team dissension, defense versus offense, players versus player. I mean, Florida's drama is they have guys getting arrested,
Right.
they have guys getting in trouble, but this team could be tight. I mean, it still could be tight and go out there and play together. So there is drama with both programs, but the drama's a little bit different. We'll see how they handle it.
Yep. This isn't necessarily SEC news, although Chris Steele did play at Florida, but he ended up transferring to USC. He had committed to transfer to Oregon at one point, then committed to transfer to USC, and that is Chris Steele. And it was announced yesterday by Chris Steele on his Twitter that the NCAA had cleared his waiver to play this season. He tweeted out, "A blessing from God, ... The NCAA has cleared my waiver. Can't wait to compete with my brothers this year! ! Fight on! Peace emoji." I'm not a fan of him being allowed to play this year. Transferred twice. Transferred from Florida to Oregon to USC. He never necessarily made it on campus at Oregon, but I guess he decommitted from his transfer commitment to Oregon and then ends up at USC. I mean, I guess if you are the NCAA, you don't have a choice because of why he left Florida. And I don't know. I don't like it. And it's kind of annoying that Aubrey Solomon announced his transfer to Tennessee on December 21st. Chris Steele announced his transfer to USC on June 11th. What is that, 7 months later? And still don't have a decision on Aubrey Solomon. Now, Tennessee did not file the paperwork on December 21st to get Aubrey Solomon immediately eligible. But nonetheless, what is taking so long? Can we please get a decision?
That's not even what I'm discussing with the NCAA the most about today, to be honest. I'm so tired of them dragging their feet on Aubrey Solomon. What they did yesterday was even more despicable, the NCAA. And we'll get to that a little bit later. They think they're going to stop Rich Paul. Man. NCAA is just... We'll get to it later. My goodness. 865-255-03 B-Drive Waterproofing Hotline. Attaboys coming up next. Stay with us.
At work? Can't call in? Don't feel bad. You can talk to the guys on the text box. It's part of the free Swain Event app.
Today will be mostly sunny with a high of 89 and a low of 69. There is a 50% chance of rain tomorrow with a high near 88 and a low around 69. The chance of showers drops to 10% on Thursday with a high in the upper 80s. Weather on the Swain Event is brought to you by B-Dry. If your basement is wet or cracked, B-Dry can help. BDry.com. Do you have sloping or uneven floors, foundation cracks, or a leaning chimney? Do your windows and doors not open properly, or are there gaps where the floor and walls meet? Don't worry, B-Dry offers approved foundation repair solutions like steel I-beams, helical piering, epoxy injections, carbon fiber applications, and more. Make sure that your home is on stable ground with B-Dry. Call them at 865-588-0454 or find them online at bdry.com.
Soreness, bumps, and bruises are a part of everyday life, whether you're a Vol or not. Surgery can be too, even for weekend warriors. Something that can get you back to feeling your best is therapeutic massage. If you've had surgery or are feeling the wear and tear of life, give our friends at In Touch Massage Knoxville a visit. They have a hand-picked staff and offer a clinical focus for folks going through joint replacement and cancer treatment. They serve neurological patients like those being treated for MS, ALS, and Parkinson's. Their staff even includes a lymphedema specialist. Plus, they offer a great relaxation massage. Don't ignore your pain any longer. Let the therapists from In Touch Massage Knoxville help. Located just west of downtown Knoxville at 601 South Concord Street, or find them online at intouchmassagenknoxville.com and on the phone at 865-236-1425.
JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799.
I just wanted to come by and congratulate you on the great work you've been doing.
I like your style. You remind me of a young me.
Failure is not an option.
That boy is good.
Always remind yourself, nobody built like you. You design yourself.
Attaboy.
It's time to bring you some positivity. It's time to bring you some positive news with our segment called Attaboy. Grant Williams showing love to the Boston Red Sox, throwing out the first pitch.
Disgusting.
You got to be big time to throw out the first pitch at a major league game, especially storied, successful.
The defending champs.
Franchise like the Boston Red Sox, defending champs. That's right, you said it, not me. Boston Red Sox, pretty cool that Grant Williams, what some folks call an undersized post player from Charlotte, North Carolina, didn't have big offers, come to Tennessee, win SEC Player of the Year 2 years in a row, first round pick to the Boston Celtics, one of the most storied basketball franchises on the planet. And he's throwing out the first pitch at the Major League game. What a cool last 6 months for Grant Williams. Ben, what you got?
I'm actually going to Major League Baseball, but I'm not going to...
Not go to Boston?
No. They don't deserve an attaboy. They suck this year. But, and on Grant Williams, he did announce on Twitter last night that he will wear number 12 this year.
I like that, man. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, so it will be weird to see him in a number 12 jersey, not in a number 2 jersey. But, hey, I know Tennessee fans were constantly asking Grant what number he was going to wear so they could order a jersey, order a jersey, a shirt, whatever. Now you have your answer. You can go order you a Grant Williams number 12 jersey or jersey. I'll probably get me a jersey, to be honest with you.
Extra medium.
Extra medium. Want to look like Charlie Burris walking around here.
Baby shirt Ben.
Baby shirt Ben. Let's go. No, I am going to give an attaboy to the Miami Marlins second baseman, Isan Diaz. He was promoted this week, and on Monday was when he received his promotion from AAA to the Major Leagues. And he had a welcome to the big leagues moment. He's in the starting lineup playing second base. And who's on the mound? Jacob deGrom, the reigning NL Cy Young Award winner. But later in the game, in the sixth inning, he is up to bat at the plate. Third Major League at bat, I believe. I believe he was 0 for 2 at that point. He had reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning and then popped out to third. And then in the sixth inning was his third at bat of the game. And while he was in the batter's box, the Marlins TV crew cut to an interview with Diaz's parents. who were with a group of friends and family at Citi Field in New York to watch the game, watch the Major League debut of their son. And in the middle of the interview, Jacob deGrom throws a 97-mile-per-hour fastball. Diaz turns on it, sends it over the right field wall for his first Major League hit and his first Major League home run. And as you can imagine, everybody went crazy. His dad is up, jumping, screaming. It's a really cool video to watch. I can put it in the show notes if you did not see it going around social media. Just a really cool moment. And so an attaboy to this young man, Isan Diaz, and just a cool moment that family will never forget. Just really, I mean, his dad went absolutely nuts. As soon as the ball hit the bat, I mean, as soon as he heard the crack of the bat, he knew it was gone and just lost his mind. I can't imagine how cool of a moment that was. So, attaboy to Isan Diaz for getting the call to the big leagues and then creating a moment that family will never forget.
Tennessee Levi on the text box asks, who is the biggest thumper in football and who's the highest flyer in basketball this year, in your guys' opinion? Are we talking Tennessee?
I imagine.
If we're talking Tennessee,
he is Tennessee Levi.
Well, the highest flyer to me would be
this. I don't think it's as easy as you're making it sound.
Based on some proof, would be Jordan Bowden.
Well, I think there are several great options. Jordan Bowden has had the best in-game dunk.
Dude.
The one at Vanderbilt was ridiculous, but Yves Pons can get up there.
He can get up.
Everybody forgets about Jalen Johnson just because he hasn't played a whole lot of minutes.
We're long and tall. I mean, we got some guys who can jump who are very athletic, but I mean, I got to go with Jordan Bowden right now.
I'd probably go Jordan Bowden.
Just right now.
Yeah. If you watch pregame warm-ups, Jalen Johnson holds his own with Jordan Bowden. So does Yves Pons, obviously. And we had a comment on the text box earlier talking about Yves Pons from Daniel W. He said, I don't know if you saw the basketball team shirtless team photo, but Yves Pons looks like the guy whose girlfriend's dad asks him for permission to date his own wife.
Yeah, Yves Pons is
Can we get him in shoulder pads?
He's put together, man. Why we always do that?
Because that man is big.
Why can't you be ripped and be a good basketball player? Why are we trying to put a football helmet on a dude who's in shape? Why we always do that?
Because football team needs help.
Admiral Schofield, man, he showed me a good tight end. Maybe he don't want to play football. Man, Yves Pons, woo. Yo, we got to line him up on defensive end. Yo, he doesn't want to play football. We always do that.
Yeah, but I'll go Bowden as highest flyer. Biggest thumper? That's a good question. Is it bad that we don't have an immediate answer?
Yeah. It's not great.
It might be Kavaris Crouch.
That's not.
And honestly, we haven't seen him even thump somebody yet.
That's not great.
Daniel Batuli.
That's not great that we don't know that.
Because Darrell Taylor hasn't really had a big hit, a big thump, unless I'm just forgetting one off the top of my head. He's had the most production.
I mean, but who thumps anymore anyways because of the targeting? I mean, he can't thump. You gotta kind of go in timid, half-hearted. Because if you don't, you may get kicked out of the game.
Nigel tries to thump, but he misses the tackle. He's probably the biggest thudder. He thuds and then doesn't wrap up.
Yeah, we'll have to keep our eyes on who's the biggest thumper because they are going full pass today. And I don't know, man.
That's a good question.
I don't think we know right now, to be honest.
That's a bad thing.
Hour 2 coming up.
Touchdown or turnover is up next on the Swain event.
When you or a loved one is injured in an accident, there are a lot of questions. There are medical bills, lost work time, damages. What will you do? You'll need someone who will have your back. Call former Marine Marcos Garza, 865-540-8300. The Garza Law Firm will be with you every step of the way. Put this number in your phone right now, because you never know when you or a friend will need it. 865-540-8300 and GarzaLaw.com.
When I made the move to my own studio, I was worried about this. I was worried about that. I was worried about, hey, did I get this piece of equipment? Did I get that piece of equipment? Does that sound good? Does that not sound good? One thing I didn't have to worry about, that was office furniture, because Office Furniture Outfitters met my furniture needs. With a 50,000 square foot facility, they have East Tennessee's largest selection and are the best value for new and used office furniture. Located in Knoxville, it's easy to find everything you need for your new space, including desks, file cabinets, chairs, conference tables, and more. Office Furniture Outfitters is turnkey. They came to my place, we mapped everything out that was needed, they delivered, and get this, set everything up. To learn more about what Office Furniture Outfitters can do for you, log on to OFOKnox.com. That's OFOKnox.com.
In debt? In too deep? Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union says, stop treading water and get out of the deep end. If you've got debt, make a splash and come get some cash. If Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union can refinance your car, boat, camper, motorcycle, credit cards, personal or home loan, they'll pay you up to $500. So come take the plunge right now. Refinance your loans. Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union will pay you. 5 convenient locations. Visit atfcu.com. Equal housing lender.
Touchdown or Turnover is backed by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong.
Hour 2 here on the Swain event that is brought to you by Alumni Hall, alumnihall.com. Touchdown Turnover is brought to you by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong, better rates and better service. Touchdown Turnover, the biggest thumper this season will come from the linebacker position. So the biggest thumper will be from the linebacker position. Now we got a headhunter in the secondary, number 18, Najee Warrior. He's been known for cracking some heads during his time in Tennessee. But will it come from a linebacker? The biggest thumper label, biggest thumper award, if there were such an award.
Is your definition of biggest thumper just the hardest hitter?
Oh yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Absolutely.
Because I think Daniel Batuli is going to be the most productive player on the defense. I think he's going to be in the 80 to 90 tackle range if he stays healthy. You know what? I'm going to go Daniel Batuli. Touchdown. It will be a linebacker. I'm going to go Daniel Batuli. We talked about it on Monday. Daniel Batuli looks like a grown man this fall. I mean, he has completely transformed his body in the weight room, and not really transformed it. That's probably not a good word to use, but he has added so much muscle. I mean, he is huge. I saw Daniel Batuli at the first day, and I was like, wait, that's Daniel Batuli? When did he get big? I need to be on his workout regimen. I mean, he is huge, and so again, I think Daniel Batuli is going to have 80, 90 tackles, assuming he stays healthy. And as a result of that much production, I do think he will have a couple of really big hits this season because of how much football he will be playing and because of how much production he will have. So I do think it'll be a linebacker touchdown. It'll be Daniel Batuli.
I'm going to go turnover. I'm going to go Najee Warrior just because coming from the safety position, running down the alley, you got more room to run, more room to gain speed, and really lay a pop. Now, we did mention Kavars Crouch could be one of those guys because he hits, but I'm gonna give it to 18. I'm gonna give it to 18. I don't think there's really a way for us to know until either a couple scrimmages or a couple games. But I'm gonna give the nod to Nigel Warrior. I like Dane Patulli because like he put on some weight, so he has a lot of muscle behind the shoulder pads to where he can bring it. He hits you're falling back. So I'm gonna go Nigel Warrior, and you go Daniel Patulli. We'll see what happens.
I wanted to say Kavars Crouch. I just don't know that he is going to be on the football field as much as Daniel Patulli. So I think Daniel Patulli is going to have more opportunities.
Hey man, you only need one hit.
That's true.
To be labeled
the thumper.
A thumper.
It wouldn't surprise me if Darrell Taylor also becomes the thumper. They desperately need somebody on the opposite side of Darrell Taylor to take pressure off of him. But if he can get one good lick on the quarterback, he could be labeled the thumper or on a running back like Jadeveon Clowney did.
Hey, just need one hit. One hit. Mr. White 704 says, I would say Jalen Johnson is the high flyer on the team. Go look back at his high school tape when he was with Harry Giles. Justin says, kind of like Butch Jones trying to get Christian Coleman to play football. Yeah, we're talking about, East Pond looks ripped, look like he can play football. We always do that, though. We always try to volunteer people to play football. Christian Coleman is the fastest man on the planet. He's done pretty well in track. Let's get him on the football field. For what? Why? So he can get hurt? So he can get broken and beat up? You don't have to be Tyreek Hill. He can be Christian Coleman on the track field. On the
I just wanted to see one kickoff return. Just one.
Have we said, oh man, that dude's 6'6", 6'7"? He should play basketball. No, we don't.
Yes. I've got one for you.
Who?
I've got one for you.
Who on the football team have you said let's put him in a basketball uniform?
I'm saying it right now.
Who?
Darrell Middleton, 6'7", 260, 280, whatever, or however much he weighs.
You saying it?
I think I'm way off.
Have you ever said it before?
Just now in my head.
Exactly.
You made me think of somebody that I want to put in a basketball uniform.
It was
Let's
forced.
put Darrell Middleton in the post next to Urosh Plavšič.
It was forced.
No?
It's so
I can think of one.
It's so easy to say, oh, let's put him in the shoulder pads. Let's put him on the football field. We always do that, man. We always do it. We always try to.
It's because we are a football school.
We try to sign people up for football.
It's because we are a football school.
I guess. I get it.
And so we are always thinking about the best interest of the football team first.
I understand. Orange and Brown guy says, heard you guys talking about Florida. Am I crazy to think Miami's going to smack the snot out of them? Miami is stacked, and it's Manny Diaz coming out party. Heard a lot of smack talking going back and forth. I won't say you crazy. Anything can happen in the first game of the season, to be honest.
I wouldn't be surprised if Miami won. I'd be surprised if Miami smacked them. I think it'll be a good football game.
It's going to be a great football game. I just don't really know what to expect with Florida, with expectations and the drama surrounding their program. They have some talent, and then Miami, they have talent too. Mark Richt did a pretty good job recruiting. They just didn't have that it factor. They didn't have that edge that Miami is known for. Do they get that back with Manny Diaz being a defensive guy, very intense guy? Do they get that edge back, and will it show in the first game of the season? We'll see, man. It's going to be a great game, though.
Yep.
Let's get to the phones this morning, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll get on the phone with Chris Lowe of ESPN. Who we got there?
Andy called in at 7:55 instead of 6:55 today.
Andy, good morning, my friend.
Good morning, fam.
What's up?
Go Vols. Man, it was so good to see Keon Johnson yesterday commit. It feels good to be a Tennessee Vol. I was really happy.
Should be, man. He's one of the best players in the country, and Rick Barnes is recruiting his tail off right now. It's easy to recruit when you've won and you have put 4 players in the NBA. So this train is rolling, and Tennessee's not going anywhere. They're not going to be a flash in the pan. They're here to stay.
You know who I'm really excited about to see on the defensive line this year is Savion Williams, because of his reputation for supposedly getting the quarterbacks really well. I'm like, how many guys are going to whiplash the quarterbacks this year? Is it going to be 2, 3, or 4? Because, Henry To'o, it makes me wonder, like, dang, how many players are going to bust the quarterback all at once? Is it going to be like a bum rush? That's what I'm anxious to see.
I want to know who's going to get to the quarterback, too, besides number 19.
Hopefully everybody.
And who's going to be able to win one-on-one matchups? Who can get to the quarterback without being called on the blitz? That's what I want to know.
Everybody meet at the quarterback.
Yep. It's going to be exciting. I cannot wait.
Well, Andy, we'll see what happens, man.
Yep.
We'll see what happens. We got some time before the first game, so we'll see what happens. Let's go. You can answer that. We'll get to that phone call, and then we'll bring on Chris Lowe, because it's going to be a while before the phone line will be reopened. Chris Lowe, ESPN, will join us here at the next segment. But let's get back to the phones right quick before break time, and let's get to Turkey Man. Turkey Man, good morning.
Good morning, individuals.
What's up, Turkey Man?
Hey, you was talking about basketball players to the football field and our football players to basketball. Ron Whitby in 1966-67, he did quite well on both football and basketball. Of course, he's a punter, but he's an All-American. Check the stats.
Check the tape.
Check the tape.
I'll have to check the tape, Turkey Man.
All right, buddy. I'll let you go.
All right, see you, Turkey Man. 865-255-03. It is Chris Lowe time. ESPN. He's been around the country. Saw he was at Alabama. He's at Clemson. We'll check in with Chris Lowe of ESPN coming up next. That segment is brought to you by Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine. Stay with us.
While the other guys are taking guesses, the Swain event is taking you behind the scenes and in the huddle every morning from 7 till 10 right here.
Hey, it's Chris Lowe of ESPN. And listen, maybe Jason Swain didn't wear number 1 quite as well as the great Leonard Little did at Tennessee, but he is your go-to guy for all things Big Orange. Join us weekly on the Swain event, brought to you by Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine and trsportsmedicine.com.
We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss stem cell treatment and PRP. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
That's right, Jason. We specialize in regenerative non-surgical orthopedics. So we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints by using ultrasound-guided injections with stem cells or PRP. And this form of treatment actually stimulates the body's own reparative process and allows for healing of the damaged tissue.
So, Doc, what makes your training different than others?
Well, Jason, I've been practicing in Knoxville for 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. So unlike the big seminars that will advertise stem cells, fly someone in for a couple hours to talk about supposed stem cells that you order off of a shelf, then they'll depart, leaving the patient wondering who will be the person injecting me and what their level of training is. At Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own bone marrow stem cells. So in other words, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, trsportsmedicine.com. East Tennessee's leader in PRP and stem cell therapy.
Hey y'all, check it out. Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue has a brand new happy hour special right now that you don't want to miss. Get $2 off of their fantastic barbecue queso appetizer from 2 to 4 p.m. That's queso loaded with your choice of pork, chicken, or brisket and served with Frito scoops. And for the rest of the month, check out their new Pig and Peaches salad for $11. This thing is loaded with salad mix, grape tomatoes, fire-roasted peaches, pickled red onions, pork belly burnt-ends, goat cheese, and topped with a delicious balsamic vinaigrette. Dead End Barbecue. The barbecue surge is over.
While the players are gearing up for the gridiron, it's time for you to get geared up at Alumni Hall. Find the best selection of Nike, Nike Golf, Peter Millar, and all of those retro logos you love. And the 2 for $28 t-shirt deal? Game changer. And don't forget about the rest of your game day crew. There are plenty of options for the entire family and to upgrade that tailgate. Shop now at one of their 6 convenient locations in Tennessee or 24/7 at alumnihall.com. It's football time in Tennessee.
As summer selling season heats up, here are 3 home features buyers are loving. Borrow a few or all of these to potentially up the appeal and value of your home. Number 1. Get back to basics. Never underestimate the power of a nice walkway, quality mulch, some flowering shrubs, and a couple of nice planters. Number 2, embrace a new neutral. While beige and white are classic, new neutrals are trending. Opt for soft grays, or you can even try a neutral blue. Number 3, open space is all the rage. Homebuyers are still on the hunt for open concept floor plans. Even if your rooms are enclosed, mirrors and ample natural light can help open up your space. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, you need a professional that will be by your side every step of the way. Call me, Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty at 865-694-5904 or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com.
If you aren't following the Swain event on Twitter, then are you even on Twitter? Hit that follow button. It's the right thing to do.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Swain Event and SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. I'm going to clear my throat for our next guest. Big time. Everyone, stop what you're doing right now. If you're driving, you got to pull over for this guest. You got to pull over. If you're texting, you got to stop texting. If you're multitasking, you got to stop doing what else you're doing because you have to stop your life to listen to our man Chris Lowe, ESPN, who is joining us via the B-Dry Waterproofing Hotline. His time is brought to you by Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine. Chris, good morning, man.
I tell you what, every day is a good day, as our buddy Inky Johnson reminds us. By the way, you're missing out. He's as good a follow on Twitter as there is. As he reminds us every day, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us be glad and rejoice in it. But it's always even better. The day's even better when I get to talk to you, my man. Hello, Jason Swain.
Hello. You talking about Inky Johnson? Your phone cut out a little bit there.
I'm sorry. I said if you haven't followed Inky on Twitter, you're missing out. He's the best follow on Twitter.
Absolutely. Chris, what city or town are you in today after traveling there in your private jet, or ESPN's private jet?
You know what? It was taken, actually. Maria Taylor and Holly Rowe were using the ESPN jet. So it was taken. So you were nice enough to let me use yours, and I really appreciate that.
You're welcome, man. Anytime.
Been in Clemson yesterday, spent all day in Clemson, and headed to Athens, GA today, Athens, Georgia. Left for later today. Be there later today. Clemson, the first part. And we'll meet with Kirby Smart and the Hairy Dogs, or as Larry Munson used to say, "Go you Hairy Dogs." But this is my time. I love preseason camp. I know I sound like a football coach, but it's just when you really sort of get that football vibe back. You know, you see it's hot. Guys are out there practicing. They don't do 2-a-days anymore, which is sort of it's still sort of weird. But I really enjoy going around this time of year and visiting with coaches and players. And I never cease to be amazed at how big these guys are getting. And I know I sound old. Everybody talking about this guy there. They're so much bigger than they used to be. Clemson, watching them in practice yesterday, I was standing with their good buddy Woody McCorvey. I just looked at Woody and I said, Woody, where are these guys coming from? It was like that at Alabama last weekend. It's like that everywhere. But these guys are so big and so tall. Talking about wingspans, they look like the Predator. And can move, and guys that are 6'6". Clemson's got this freshman tight end who's 6'5", 275. He's got a basketball-type frame, but he's just massive. It's just amazing how big and strong and athletic these kids are in this day and age.
And the field is not getting any bigger, not
No.
getting any wider, it's not getting any longer.
Nope.
So there's less room to operate, and so there's more maybe collisions, I guess. You can say that, and there's rules put in place to try to limit some of those head-to-head collisions, which I understand the rule changes. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned guys are getting huge, guys are getting bigger, stronger, faster. I mean, you can say the same thing here in Tennessee. I know.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So
the kid is going to play tackle. The kid's going to play left tackle for Clemson. The Carmen kid, he was a freshman last year. He's a big-time recruit. I think out of Ohio. They beat Ohio State to get him. He was 375 when he got here. He's 335 now. Looks a lot better. But just guys aren't supposed to be that big and can move like that and have the kind of footwork that they do. And that's people talk about the game has changed and it's evolved. Well, to me, the biggest way it's changed is you've got these massive athletes who are so explosive, and the collisions are more violent than they've ever been. And you're right, the dimensions of the field haven't changed. Listen, I love football as much as anybody, but it's just amazing to see these athletes and how big and explosive and athletic they are.
How ticked off is Nick Saban right now, getting smacked down in the national championship game by Clemson? And we know every time Nick Saban loses in the championship game or fails to win a championship, he comes back the next season like a bat out of hell, and he's motivated, and he uses that to motivate his team. How upset is he right now after losing that game to Clemson?
Yeah, well, I was there last weekend. Actually, going to go back to 7 weekend there. He likes his team. I'll say that he likes the team. He likes the way they've worked. He likes leaders. He likes the mix on his coaching staff. I think he likes the mix. Well, I know he likes the mix a lot better on his coaching staff. He feels like he's got the right mix of younger guys and veteran guys, guys that he has coached with him before, Swain. Like Sark and Sal Sunseri, some of those guys. Guys like Charles Kelly, who've been around, veteran guys. He is. I would say he's ticked. He's lost so rarely the last few years, and when he has lost, it's usually been to Clemson. And the fact that they didn't just lose, they got beat. You're right, they got beat up,
beat down. Chris Lowe,
yeah,
head beat in, eyes swollen.
Yeah, they got
shut.
beat. Look, that's the first time. Here's a stat for you. That's the first time he's lost a game by more than 14 points to anybody since the head ball coach in South Carolina beat him back in 2010. I think that game was like a 15-point game or something like that. He's got him. People have beaten him a few times, but nobody's beaten him up the way Clemson did last year. I think that's something he's used. The players have used. I talked to a little bit. It's been a good off season. They feel like they're getting that Alabama quote unquote factor back a little bit. Not that they've ever settled, but it's working hard and grinding all the time. And I think he feels like they lost that a little bit last year, staff-wise, player-wise. Maybe the leadership wasn't as good as it could have been. He said it starts with him. And nobody pushes themselves any harder than Saban pushes himself. And they're going to be good again. They're going to be really good. If they stay healthy on defense, guys like Raekwon Davis, who's probably as focused as he's ever been, in better shape he's been, Terrell Lewis, their outside edge rusher. Now, he's got to stay healthy. He hasn't been healthy for 2 years, but if he does, he's a first-round pick. and they got some young guys in the secondary they like a lot. But everybody asks me, Swain, hey, is it Clemson, Alabama? I don't have a crystal ball, but
yep.
I've been to a few places, and I've not seen anybody that match. I'm going to Oklahoma next week, and as I said, I'll be in Georgia tomorrow. But I haven't seen anybody, people talk about your top 20, your first 22. With those teams, it's always your first 40, 45.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen anybody that matches up with either one of those teams' first 45.
Chris, Florida has had an interesting offseason with transfers, with some issues with players and females, and Dan Mullen saying that, John Huggins, a nickelback for Florida, is absent from the team because of family reasons, but then it comes out that he was choking a tutor because he didn't want her to take his phone away so that he would stay the entire session. And then you had Zach Smith, the former Ohio State coach, come out and say that he thinks that Dan Mullen is in over his head at Florida. What are your thoughts on Florida's culture, and do you think that Dan Mullen is in over his head when you consider the magnitude of the job compared to Mississippi State?
Yeah, and they've had some costly injuries too.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing. They're down a few players that they were counting on. Well, first of all, Ben, I don't know that what Zach Smith says is, something that you hang your hat on.
Right.
I'm not trying to make light of that, but
right.
I don't know that, he's the guy that is the end all in what he says. Dan's a little bit of a quirky guy. He'll say what's on his mind, and sometimes he ruffles feathers. I don't think he really cares a whole lot about what you or me or anybody else thinks about what he says or does. I thought he did a pretty good job last year. When you looked at first-year coaches around the country, he probably did, and what he did with the program and some of the games they won, he probably did as well as anybody. Ultimately, it's going to come down to what they do over the next few years against Georgia. Can they get into the SEC championship game, have a chance to win? Because to win that championship, you got to be in that game. I was a big win for him to keep Todd Grantham as the D coordinator. The NFL came hard after Grantham, and they were able to keep him. I think that continuity will help him, and we'll see what Franks does with another year under Mullen. His track record speaks for itself with quarterbacks, developing quarterbacks. Franks has got a lot of ability, and I thought he did play better last year. So we'll see going forward. I think he got some receivers around him. But no, it's always a big year at Florida. Florida's one of those jobs a lot like most of them in the SEC. And people think Tennessee's expectations are out of whack. Well, go down and talk to them at Florida. If they're not in the SEC championship game every year and winning it every other year and in the playoffs every year, then something's wrong. But no, they've had a lot of things go on. And ultimately, though, those things sort of go away. I always think go away, but they're not as big a deal if you win the games you're supposed to win. And he's going to be judged on what they do on the field and they beat the right teams.
Chris, our good friend Rachel Barbeau, who is doing amazing work around the country and not just college athletics, but I saw that she was a part of Hall of Fame weekend there, the first preseason game. And domestic violence is not just a sports issue, but it's a societal issue. And there's kind of been a narrative painted of Florida right now and Dan Mullen with 5 players connected to domestic violence. How do you think Dan Mullen in Florida will kind of handle that? As a Tennessee fan, some folks may go, laugh and point the finger at Florida, but this is serious. This is nothing to gloat about. This is nothing to brag about or point the finger at Florida about. Because this could be our sister, it could be our mother, it could be a female friend. This is a serious issue. How is Florida going to kind of deal with this, in your opinion?
Well, first of all, you're right about Rachel. Rachel's a wonderful person, and I'm proud to call her a friend. She's done awesome work, traveling around the country and talking to teams and trying to help do what she can, do her part into ending this thing. And you're right, Swain. It's not a football deal; it's a societal deal. And it's the kind of thing that we all play a part in trying to help end. The way I look at it when it comes to college football, programs and sexual assault and domestic violence within the program is the university. That has to start at the top. I mean, the president and administration at the university level.
Mm-hmm.
I asked myself so many times over the years when we've heard, and it's not just in Florida. I mean, there's been all sorts of schools that have been involved in this. Where's the university president? Where's the chancellor? Those are the people that need to step forward and be leaders. You know, and certainly the head coach does too. I'm not saying the head coach doesn't have a huge responsibility as well. You know, Steve Spurrier always telling me, he says, Chris, my role was pretty simple when it came to violence against women. If you hit a female, you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
No questions asked, or we're going to wait and let the process run its course. Now, there's two sides to every story. I don't mean domestic violence, but it's hard because you or me are accused of something doesn't mean we're guilty. Okay? Go ask A.J. Johnson.
Yep.
All right? So sometimes there's a fine line, but as a head coach, as a president of the university, when these things are alleged, I mean, you've got to jump in right then, everybody. And it's important to bring in independent people to look at these things and not have, you know, the athletic department or somebody has a vested interest in keeping a kid eligible.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we and thankfully we're getting away from that now. You know, you don't see investigations headed up by somebody in the athletic department. But I applaud Rachel for going around the country and speaking to teams and players and coaches. And she calls them her kings. You know, be a king. You know, and I love the fact that you're seeing more players across the country who are reaching out to her and telling her thank you for your message. You know, this is something that, you know, we're going to police ourselves. We're going to make sure that this is not happening on our team, among our brothers. You know, because you're right, everybody's got a mom, a grandma, a sister, a wife, a kid. And I'm just, you know, I get nauseated thinking about it. But it is a societal issue. It's not just a college football or college basketball issue. And in Florida, you know, you ask me what's going to happen, how's it? My hope is that the people at the very highest top at all schools, not just Florida, step forward to do what's right.
The hot topic amongst college football fans and Tennessee fans right now is the immediate eligibility waivers. Do you have any insight into maybe how that process works and why it is taking so long, in your opinion, for Aubrey Solomon, Tennessee defensive end, to hear a decision? Because it is taking forever, and it seems like guys who announced that they were transferring before or after Aubrey Solomon did are receiving notifications whether they'll be able to play this year before he will.
No, I don't, Ben. I know that's frustrating for Jeremy and for Tennessee. It's frustrating for all schools who look at this process as a bit of a moving target. You know, I mean, the factors used to be pretty cut and dry. If you legitimately had a hardship, you had a family member or somebody that was sick or ill, or you needed to get close to them, and they became pretty liberal about letting that kid transfer and be eligible immediately and granting the waiver. Now I don't know. I mean, I don't know what all the factors are. I mean, I've heard that in talking to people that some of it is the school they're leaving, the school the player's leaving, how open they are to this person being granted immediate, you know, are they blocking it? Are they in favor of it being granted immediate eligibility? Is there any sign or evidence of tampering by the school that they're going to? I'm not saying that Tennessee. I'm just saying these are some things I've heard that play a part of the process. It almost looks like a lot of the kids who had the means, or their families have had the means to hire big-time lawyers. Thomas Martin was the guy. You know, he was the go-to guy for a while. Are the guys that were getting the eligibility?
And who's he working for now, Chris?
Couldn't and didn't have the means to do that. Just were out of luck. So I don't know.
Who is Thomas Mars working for now, Chris?
Funny how that works sometimes, isn't it, Swain?
Yeah, man.
The NCAA. See, hey, you can't beat him. Hire him, right?
Yeah. Apparently, Chris Lowe, ESPN here on the Swain event.
Fueled by Dead End Barbecue. His time is brought to you by Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine. I want to get to Tennessee football, stay here on Tennessee football, and Chris, I always use kind of your quote when we were talking about Jeremy Pruitt and him entering his first year, and him being defensive coordinator and very intense, and it was going to be an adjustment period for him being a head coach, being an overseer. You said that's kind of like a bull in a china shop, and I want to kind of get your take because listen, I know you're traveling on a private jet to Clemson and Tuscaloosa, and you get a chance to share Nick Saban's secret Debbie cake stash with him. But I mean, you live here in Knoxville, all right? You live in Farragut, and so you have insight here. What's going on? Any adjustments that you have heard that Jeremy Pruitt has made, and kind of what kind of is your current opinion of where Jeremy Pruitt is as a head coach?
Well, first of all, remember, I don't know if you remember because you got so many people working under you. I'm actually using your jet on this one. And I do want to make one request. Your DirecTV reception on the jet is not as good as the DirecTV reception on the ESPN jet. So that's something you might want to work on.
I might have to work on that, man.
I think I don't think he's been as much of a bull in China shop. Now, I think he is in those matters that really count on the field with players and making his point. But I think the people around him, Jeremy's evolved a little bit. Been a little bit, I won't say nicer, but just maybe been a little more manageable. Because Jeremy's one of those guys he's on 24/7. And I think in this day and age, that's what you need as a head football coach. And certainly a guy that's taken on the kind of challenge he is at Tennessee, to take a program that's been wandering in the football wasteland for a decade and trying to get it back among the big boys. And I think he trusts people. I mean, he's better around him. A lot of that's the staff, and the fact that Philip Fulmer has gone out and the university and the donors have invested to bring in guys like Jim Chaney, Tarek Ansley, and T. Martin. That Jeremy feels like that every single thing that he's got good people around him, and he's going to let them do their job. So I think he's learned. He's told me, he's learned a lot from his first year as a head football coach. He's always going to be a guy that's an in-your-face, blue-collar, outwork. I love this story he's told me. He's probably told you guys this too. That when he first got the job last year, the first game, he called a buddy of his and said, "You remember what we were doing X amount of years ago? This time that time?" He said, "We were underneath the house plumbing a house." I like that in Jeremy. I like that he's the antithesis of a coach who was born on third base. He's had to work his way up, all the way up through the high school ranks, being a quality control guy, and now here he is, the head football coach at Tennessee. I think there's something to be said for that, and I think that's the way he coaches and recruits and develops players. He's a very no-nonsense guy. But I do think he will trust the people around him a little bit more. Not that he did trust him last year, and not that he's ever going to be a CEO, but you hire good people and you pay people a lot of money to come in, guys who have done it at a high level like a Jim Chaney, when you let them do their job. Jeremy's pretty good at relating to people too. I don't think you recruit the way he has without that. But he has a way of talking to kids 17, 18, 19, and 20 years old that they relate. They listen to him. It may not be, it's not like he's telling them bedtime stories, but he can talk their language, and they hear him, and they trust him, and they know he's pushing them to get better. They may not like it all the time, but they know that that's the way that, if they listen and do what he tells them to do, they're going to have a chance to keep playing football for a long time, and ultimately at Tennessee have a chance to maybe play for some championships. And that's what all guys at that level want to hear, Swain. You recruit a highly recruited player, USA Today All-American. What did everybody in did you guys have a game you played in that year, or was there a photo shoot you guys all went to? I can't remember when you were coming out.
I mean, the Army All-American game.
Yeah, so let me ask you this. I don't know if I've ever asked you this before. What did 80 or 90% of those players think at that point? What was their main goal in picking a school.
Oh, everyone talked about going to the league and going to
Absolutely.
going to the place that was going to help them
100%.
get there. Yeah.
100%. And it's still like that. Maybe even more so now.
Oh yeah.
Even though the reality is 20% of them may go, 10%, maybe not even that much. But that's the way when you're recruiting in those waters and recruiting those high-ranked players that LSU wants, Ohio State wants, and Oklahoma. They want to know what have you done? Who have you put in the league? What kind of how can you develop me? Jeremy's pretty good at really good at conveying that to kids. Now you got to get enough of those guys, and they need another class, and you get them on the field and you develop them. And I think Jeremy's track record of developing football players is pretty good too.
Only a few guys in America can go from the top programs in America, go sit in the coach's meeting room like yourself, and you can't spell Hollywood without low, Chris. Pruitt said that he feels like his staff is the best in America. You've been across the country. You've hung out with college football staffs. What makes the best college football staff, in your opinion, Chris?
The right mix, guys that can recruit and develop and coach, who can do it all, and guys that are able to connect with players from all different walks of life. And ideally guys that have coached in different leagues. Jeremy's got guys who've coached in the NFL, guys who've coached in the SEC, and have had success doing that. I mean, there's a reason Nick Saban didn't want to lose Derek Ansley. Derek Ansley's a good football coach. Charles Kelly, Tennessee didn't want to lose Charles Kelly. And Charles Kelly's been a good coach at a lot of different places. He knows what a good football player looks like. He understands what it takes to develop a really good football player. But you still got to be able to have guys who go out and get guys on your campus that can connect and relate. I mean, people ask me all the time about Dabo Swinney. Dabo Swinney can connect with the post sitting beside the bench at the bus station. He can relate and connect to anybody and anything in the world. And that's why he's such a great recruiter. But you can't just have recruiters on your staff. You got to have guys that are ball coaches, guys that can coach and develop, and aren't afraid of getting guys' faces and challenge them. But when you do that, they got to know that you're doing it because everything's coming from the heart. You're trying to push them to be the best. And I like the mix on Jeremy's staff along those lines now. You got a guy like T. Martin who understands Tennessee. He's been to Tennessee. There's nobody on that staff that it means more to. I'm not saying that it means that he's ahead of everybody else, but it means more to get, and I'll use looking at it from his perspective, to get his school and his alma mater back to winning championships than it does to T. Martin. T. Martin has tasted at the highest level there. He was a big reason 20 years ago Tennessee won the national championship. There's a reason he's back. He had lots of opportunities.
Yep.
To go a lot of different places. Some places to be the main play caller on offense.
Yep.
But he chose Tennessee. And so, again, you look at that mix. Jim Chaney's been a guy who's called plays successfully at a lot of different places, worked with a lot of great players. Chris Winke's a guy that won the Heisman Trophy, played for one of the best coaches in the history of the game. Yeah. So you ask me what makes the best staff. I think it's the right mix, guys who've got different experiences, ideally guys who coach some in the NFL, guys that can recruit, guys that can coach. And at the end of the day, it's got to be a staff that you as a head coach trust. And if Jeremy needs to spend more time with the DBs this year, or he's got to spend more time, showing up recruiting, or whatever, because that's the thing with a head coach, and this, Swain, they wear so many different hats. That's the thing Philip Fulmer was so good at. He managed a program as well as anybody. He could manage the whole thing. Well, Jeremy now, I think, has the kind of staff that he's got to spend more time doing X and Y. He doesn't feel like he's got to have his hands in, in W and Z, because he's got guys who can handle it. I think to me, that's the key. And I'll end this by saying you can't spell win, or you can't spell Swain without winning. By the
That
way,
is right.
You thought about that?
Hey, I have thought about that. I thought about that a lot. When Coach used to say, "There's no I in team. There's an I in win, though. There's an I in win.
There's a win in Swain too,
That,
right?
That's correct. I'm proud of that now. I am proud of
And
that, Chris.
Thanks for the help. The Swain event's help in promoting the Pierce Corcoran Golf Tournament. It was a rousing success Monday. We raised a ton of money for the Mineral Youth Foundation, and I tell you what, I'm proud of my alma mater and my community too. There's a lot of people, including yourself, who stepped forward and donated money and signed. I mean, Grant Williams and Chris Lofton and Tony White, Peyton Manning, Rick Barnes, Philip Fulmer was out there that morning, who made it a point. Dr. Jerry Punch was out there. The mayor, him best as Kane. I call him Glenn Jacobs, was out there. But just the outpouring of support and love, not just UT-connected people, but people in the community was pretty awesome. Again, and I've known the Corcorans and the Witts forever, and they're a dear friend. And to lose Pierce at such a young age was awful. It's kind of pain. It doesn't ever completely go away. But to be able to turn that into something positive to maybe help some kids here in Knoxville. I told you, Swain, we ate lunch the other day. If the money they raised to help build this facility, that memory facility, if that saves one kid from the streets or helps one kid get on the right track, in the right direction, maybe get a chance to go to college and better his life, then we've done something. We've taken a tragedy. We've done something that was just awful, and at least made a positive out of it.
That's right. I 100% agree, Chris. You got to get to Athens, Georgia. I don't know how to feel about this. I'm kind of disgusted, Chris. I'm seeing photos of you, Alabama. I'm okay with Clemson, though, because I like Dabo, and we got a couple players from
Hey, I got
Knoxville
to
there.
see Woody McCorvey.
And I love me some Woody.
Person on the planet than Woody McCorvey.
Yeah, I love me some Woody, man. Are you still there?
I'm here.
Well, you got to tell Woody I said, hey, please.
I'll be sure and do that.
Yeah, please tell Woody I said, hey.
I'll send you a picture.
Yeah, send me a
I got
picture.
a picture of us together. I'll send you a picture. Woody McCorvey's. You talk about guys respected across the industry.
Oh yeah.
By everybody. Find me somebody that in the coaching industry, or anybody who's dealt with Woody, media, administrative, that doesn't like Woody McCorvey or doesn't respect him. Probably more specifically.
Love Woody. Love Woody McCorvey.
Or I still call him Woodrow.
From Atmo, Alabama.
Atmo, Alabama. I told him I stopped at Atmore. We're going down to Gulf Shores when Adam, my son, was playing baseball a few years ago. We stopped down there to spend the night. And they're in Atmore now. They got that big casino.
Huh.
And they built all these hotels there where people they shuttle them over there to gamble. So I checked in that night. And a little girl behind the counter was checking me in. And I called Woody on speaker and called. I said, "Do you know Woody McCorvey?" She was probably about 19, this girl was. And I said, she said, "No, I don't." I said, "You don't know Woody McCorvey and you live in Atmore, Alabama?"
Legend.
Everybody in Atmore, Alabama knows Woody McCorvey. He still gets a big kick out of that when I tell him that story.
Legend. Yeah, tell him I
And you're
said,
right.
hey.
It's not Atmore, Alabama. It's Atmo.
Atmo. Yeah, I'm not happy about you being Tuscaloosa. I'm okay with you being Clemson, and I ain't too happy about you being in Athens, Chris. But since we're friends, I let it slide because you do have a job to do working for the worldwide leader, ESPN.
Where do I live? And you go in my office there in Farragut. Where's my diploma from what university on the wall?
It's from Tennessee. I understand. That's
As I always tell Coach Fulmer, I always say, "Are you going to get your alma mater squared away?" And he always looks at me. He says, "Your alma mater too, big boy."
Oh man, Chris, thanks so much for the time, man. Really, really appreciate it. I know you're on assignment, talking and meeting with the best programs in college football, and hopefully Tennessee will be part of your assignment here soon.
Oh, I'm going to be through. I'm going to come by. I'm going to talk to Jerry. I'm going to come down for a day during preseason camp, hang out. Maybe we can take your jet from Cherokee Aviation and land somewhere close to campus, so it's not as long a drive for me.
We'll do it. We'll do it, man. We'll do it. Talk to my people. Let your people talk to my people. We'll make it happen, Chris.
Your boy George there at the best restaurant in town, Dead End Barbecue, stepped up too for the tournament. Had a gift basket that he donated. So there again, it was awesome to see what people in the community did. But I look forward to breaking bread soon with you. having the sausage and cheese plate. Maybe branch out a little bit and have the burn ends instead of the bologna sandwiches next time at lunch at the end.
Yeah, I won't hold my breath, man. You go with what you know, so, and it's good. So, Chris, be careful on the road, man, and we'll see you here soon.
All right, buddy. You guys take care.
You too. Chris Lowe, ESPN. His time was brought to you by Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, and you're seeing a lot of new people, new companies, new businesses coming into Knoxville and advertising stem cells and not really doing it the way it should be done. You've heard the commercials from Dr. Carlson over there at Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine. So when these people come into town and they advertise stem cells and it's time for you to get a procedure done, sometimes they use bone marrow that's not yours. They use bone marrow that's basically in a retail place from someone else somewhere else. Well, Dr. Carlson has been doing this for a very, very long time. 26 years he's been practicing in Knoxville. He's been teaching this form of medicine to other physicians internationally, nationally. And so when Dr. Carlson does the procedure, he's using your own bone marrow for stem cells and PRP. So it comes from you and it goes back to you. I've had work done at Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine on my knee, on my ankle. If you don't want surgery, if you have that pain, you have that ligament pain, you don't have to get cut on. You don't have to have surgery. Call Dr. Carlson over there at Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine and tell them I sent you, and they'll get you taken care of. trsportsmedicine.com. Stay with us. Be right back.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
When you see the happy face on our truck, you'll be smiling because you'll know that you're in love. Tap water often contains harmful chemicals and additives. When you call for your free water test from Hiller, we'll show you exactly what's in your water and how to remove it. Enjoy cleaner, healthier water in your home. Visit happyhiller.com to schedule your free in-home appointment today.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Do you want a custom themed tumbler or bottle to show off your team spirit every day of the week? Well, look no further than Game Time Sidekicks. Every design has you, the fan, in mind. Their tumblers and bottles are double-walled, vacuum-insulated stainless steel, and their quality is second to none in the market. From stainless steel sippy cups to tumblers and sports bottles, Game Time Sidekicks offers something for the fan of all ages to rep their team with. They have many different logo options, so fans will have something they are proud to carry around all the time. Use promo code SWAIN at checkout to get 20% off of your entire purchase at GameTimeSidekicks.com. They also offer $5 flat rate shipping. Be sure to check out the Game Time Workshop on the website and customize your tumbler to make it one of a kind with things like your nickname, number, or initials. Game Time Sidekicks. Show your colors and carry your team. JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799. Guys, have you noticed lack of energy, motivation, and drive? It could be low T or something else like sleep apnea or even low thyroid. It starts with a quick and easy health assessment to better understand your health. And now they treat more than just low T, including sleep apnea, low thyroid, and more. It is covered by most health insurance. So if you've been feeling grumpy, tired, have you noticed a weight gain or loss of muscle, call 865-392-1388 or go to lowtcenter.com. Low T Center. reinventing men's healthcare.
Craving flavors that don't take hours in the kitchen? Mrs. Grissom's cheese spreads and chicken salads are the perfect go-to. Ready-to-eat meals and snacks found in the meat or dairy section at your local grocery store. Whether you crave the classic Mrs. Grissom's pimento cheese or the gluten-free select varieties like the cranberry pecan chicken salad, enjoy small-town flavor in every bite. Select the best. Select Mrs. Grissom's.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
(865-255-03) Dry Waterproofing Hotline. Hour 2 is brought to you by Alumni Hall, alumnihall.com. Get game day ready with the crew at Alumni Hall. They have 6 locations in Tennessee to serve you. 3 locations in Knoxville, Nike Golf, P. Millar, 2 for $25 t-shirt deal. Anything you need for your tailgate. You can go straight to the online store by simply going to the Swain Event app and clicking on the Alumni Hall box. It takes you right to their online store, and they always have awesome specials, awesome deals. And the best part is when you order, I mean, it's dropped to your doorstep in a matter of days. Really, really quick delivery, great customer service. Your go-to place for everything orange and white, that is Alumni Hall, alumnihall.com. Huge thanks to Chris Lowe for joining the show. A lot of good stuff. I'm jealous. And I'm not too proud to admit it. I'm jealous. I'm jealous that Tennessee is not one of those schools that is in the top 5 of Chris Lowe's trips, because I'm pretty sure ESPN wants Chris to go to the top programs in the country. And if he comes to Tennessee, we know kind of why. I mean, he's from here, so
ESPN can save money.
Yeah, I mean, we get an extra story because Chris lives here. But let's be honest, Tennessee's not the same conversation as Georgia, Bama, Oklahoma, and Clemson right now.
Why not?
What you mean, why not?
Why not?
Have you watched college football the last 2 or 3 years?
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
2 or 3? You mean the last 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, so it's great that Chris is a alumni of Tennessee, and that's a perk. You know, that's a perk that Tennessee can take advantage of. You know, is get that recognition and get that exposure. Georgia, a couple days ago, Maria Taylor and Holly Rose there, and they're at practice, and that was a really cool scene. I was kind of jealous. I
thought it was corny, to be honest with you. It made me feel awkward watching the video. I don't know why.
When Maria Taylor broke it down at the end, that was kind of cool.
Maria Taylor was hype.
Yeah, when she broke it down at the end,
but
that was kind of cool.
I also was not a fan of it because she is a former Bulldog. She played volleyball there, I believe.
She played volleyball. Yep.
So,
yeah.
Nah.
She does a great job, by the way. I mean,
she's tremendous.
Yeah, she represents her school, but she doesn't do it in a way that's biased.
Right.
But when it's time to, show pride, she does that, and she does a great job. But yeah, she played volleyball, and I remember being on the sideline of a Tennessee football game, and she walked by. I looked up, said, "Hey, ma'am." Yeah, she tall, man.
Taller than you?
Oh yeah, she all 6'3", 6'4". Oh yeah, she tall. Yeah.
I didn't realize she was that tall.
She will dunk on Candace Parker. She's tall, man. She's tall. She's taller than you, Ben, and me. Yes.
Being taller than me isn't saying much.
True. Hour 3 is coming up, so stick around. 865-255-03. Be right back.
Hour 3 of the Swain event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
While the players are gearing up for the gridiron, it's time for you to get geared up at Alumni Hall. Find the best selection of Nike, Nike Golf, Peter Millar, and all of those retro logos you love. And the 2 for $28 t-shirt deal? Game changer. And don't forget about the rest of your game day crew. There are plenty of options for the entire family and to upgrade that tailgate. Shop now at one of their 6 convenient locations in Tennessee or 24/7 at alumnihall.com. It's football time in Tennessee.
In debt? In too deep? Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union says, stop treading water and get out of the deep end. If you've got debt, make a splash and come get some cash. If Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union can refinance your car, boat, camper, motorcycle, credit cards, personal or home loan, they'll pay you up to $500. So come take the plunge right now. Refinance your loans. Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union will pay you. 5 convenient locations. Visit atfcu.com. Equal housing lender.
You're listening to the Swain event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. There's been some talk about Emmett Gooden and him getting hurt. Cannot confirm exactly what it is, but just like any football team, you're going to have guys get hurt in fall camp. You just hope that it's not serious for Emmett Gooden. Emmett Gooden he's been through so much to get here. He's from Tennessee, did not get a chance to sign to a D1 college straight out of high school, had to go to JUCO, had to battle a ton of elements to even put himself in a position to play D1. You watched the documentary, Last Chance U, when he was at Independence High School, and so he was one of the few guys that actually got a chance to get back. Some guys don't get a chance to get back. You know, Rakeem Boyd over there, Arkansas, he got back. Emmett Gooden got back. He is vital to the success of this defense, to this football team, replacing several upperclassmen defensive linemen of last year. And you would just hate it. I mean, just like Brandon Kenny last year, you just hated that he got hurt so early in the season because he had been through so much to be able to play at this level and play on this stage. So we don't know 100% of the details as far as exactly what the injury is and how long he's going to be out, but can say that he did get himself banged up a little bit yesterday at practice. So wanted to mention that before we go to the phones, and let's get to Don. Don, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Hey, I've been in and out, so I haven't heard the complete show. So you may have already discussed it at length, and if you have, I apologize for bringing it back up. But, guys, I'm on my NCAA clearinghouse rant and rave right now. Now, Coach Pruitt has been trying to be diplomatic and saying, well, we had to put together a package and present it and stuff. Aubrey Solomon went through spring practice here. The guy just transferred in June from Florida to USC gets cleared yesterday in about 6 weeks. So any idea that the NCAA doesn't play favorites when, just like, you know, the quarterback from Georgia to Ohio State, the one from Ohio State to Miami, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. you really got to be kidding yourself or blind to reality if you don't realize that if you're certain schools, just like certain schools, i.e. Missouri, that can get hammered for complying with the NCAA investigation, and North Carolina can get exonerated for running a fake school, and it's the same thing on the transfer portals, etc. Right or wrong?
Something's not right, Don. I mean, you look at some of the other players who are getting answers or getting clearance, and it's either NCAA is dragging their feet or someone did not submit the transfer waiver early enough. But here we are entering with our 5th practice of fall camp, and Aubrey Solomon is playing a position that we desperately need to be good. It's not like D'Angelo Gibbs playing wide receiver. We're pretty much set there this year, but this is very, very important, especially with Emmett Gooden possibly being banged up. That may require missing time. We don't know yet. So this is important, and I just hope that Tennessee gets good news here soon about Aubrey Solomon.
Well, we may have not have got it on, putting together the package, but he was already talking about that before this kid left Florida and took off to USC. And his only reason for going is he didn't get a room reassignment, and he didn't like the quarterback he was rooming with.
Yeah, he didn't like the things that he was engaged with and did not want to be around that.
Right. It's just like the kid that left Georgia to go to Ohio State, supposedly because somebody in the stands said something racist, but his sister's still in school down there.
Yeah, I guess sister's not offended, but he is.
So, it's just, it's been hilarious. It's just like even with Donnie getting the 10-year show calls, and then you see people that are just outright, like the guy at LSU, the one at Arizona, and, okay. Yeah, I guess it'd be all right for him to stay.
I will say this, Don. The NCAA could have hit Tennessee in the last 2 basketball hires before Rick Barnes, and they didn't. They just allowed us just to fire the coach, and we were pretty much good to go. And then if they really wanted to, they could have dug in a little bit more on Lane Kiffin when Lane Kiffin was here, and could have hammered us probably a little bit more too. So, as much as I despise what the NCAA stands for and some of the things that they do, we were fortunate in those 3 incidents. I will admit that. I will.
Well, sometimes it's just how strong your administration is. I mean, we
Correct.
didn't have an AD during any of these things.
Yeah.
When Doug Dickey was in that office, they never got by with some of the crap they pulled. The NCAA's pulled the last few incidents. I mean, I remember, you were probably pretty young. I don't know if you remember the incident that happened over tickets or something, and we had 3 or 4 guys had to sit out against some nobody.
I heard stories.
Football season. This was back. It's probably, I think it was for former maybe.
It was during Majors times, I think. I heard players selling tickets, something like that.
Yep.
Also heard something about a credit card incident.
I remember the credit card.
Yeah, so I've heard. I've talked to guys who played during that time.
You had a manipulating hand. Oh, we'd window dress it up, take a few official visits off our number, or maybe take a one scholarship reduction or something.
Yeah.
But he knew how to work them. A lot of people don't like Doug Dickey, and I understand the reasons why. But there's one thing about it: he was the best we ever had around here when it comes to NCAA. He knew how to work those guys.
He was the best.
Anyhow, if we don't get Solomon, and after all this, I'll be convinced it's just a rigged system. And then if we don't get him, and Gooden is hurt, a lot of people, I've heard some other shows already, pretty much got him out for the season when nobody knows nothing. Maybe Pruitt will address that, with his press conference today. But and I know that we've been battered and so bad that we have to assume everything's bad. And, he may be missing a week or two of practice. I mean, it's like a lot of folks back when Juwan had his latest incident, and it's like, well, he's finished. No, not really. You're an athlete, and you've been through some of these things. You know about I've heard enough of your show. You know about recovery time for this. You were talking about strained and sprained hamstrings yesterday. But, I reckon, the common fan out here, we've been beaten down so much and had so much bad fortune that a lot of us just are ready to jump off the Gay Street Bridge at any moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of woe is me right now. And, Don, thanks for the phone call. There's a lot of woe is me, surrounding the fan base, and it's understandable, to be honest. Emmett Gooden is very, very important. He is, along with Aubrey Solomon, which is why we've become so impatient and discouraged and angry with the NCAA. And I don't care if Aubrey Solomon is granted a waiver to play right now. The NCAA is still going to be classified as corrupt by a lot of people. You look at the latest attempt by them to target certain NBA agents because they don't have a degree and they get ready to take over the game. I mean, you just look at that. So there's multiple ways to win a football game. Coaches are paid a lot of money to hide weaknesses and try to play to your strength. And I'm not sitting here downplaying the possibility of Emmett Gooden being out for a couple days, a couple weeks, a couple months. I don't know. I really don't like speculating on injuries. But there's other players on this team, and they're going to have to step the game up. Simple as that. We lost a first-round draft pick defensive tackle in my senior year, but everybody got to step the game up and play. Guys that play his position, guys who play other positions. But we'll wait for confirmation. I know that Pruitt replaced some guys in the medical staff, and so they'll do the best job that they can to make sure Emmett Gooden is back as fast as possible without further damaging his long-term prospects of playing football. So we'll let you know as soon as we know, but we may not be first, but we're going to make sure that it's 100% accurate. Don't play around with injuries. Don't play around with them. It's not about being first, it's about being right. 865-255-03, Hour 3, powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com.
Hour 3 of the Swain event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Hey y'all, check it out. Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue has a brand new happy hour special right now that you don't want to miss. Get $2 off of their fantastic barbecue appetizer from 2 to 4 p.m. That's queso loaded with your choice of pork, chicken, or brisket and served with Frito scoops. And for the rest of the month, check out their new Pig and Peaches salad for $11. This thing is loaded with salad mix, grape tomatoes, fire-roasted peaches, pickled red onions, pork belly burnt-ends, goat cheese, and topped with a delicious balsamic vinaigrette. Dead End Barbecue. The barbecue surge is over.
Soreness, bumps, and bruises are a part of everyday life, whether you're a Vol or not. Surgery can be too, even for weekend warriors. Something that can get you back to feeling your best is therapeutic massage. If you've had surgery or are feeling the wear and tear of life, give our friends at In Touch Massage Knoxville a visit. They have a hand-picked staff and offer a clinical focus for folks going through joint replacement and cancer treatment. They serve neurological patients like those being treated for MS, ALS, and Parkinson's. Their staff even includes a lymphedema specialist. Plus, they offer a great relaxation massage. Don't ignore your pain any longer. Let the therapists from In Touch Massage Knoxville help. Located just west of downtown Knoxville at 601 South Concord Street, or find them online at intouchmassagenoknoxville.com and on the phone at 865-236-1425.
Do you want a custom-themed tumbler or bottle to show off your team spirit every day of the week? Then look no further than Game Time Sidekicks. All of their bottles and tumblers are double-walled, vacuum-insulated, stainless steel, and their quality is second to none in the tumbler market. New this year are their stemless 12-ounce tumblers, perfect for repping your team while enjoying your favorite wine. They also have new 3-in-1 jackets to use as a koozie for a can or bottle, or you can pop a lid on it and use it as a 12-ounce tumbler or coffee cup. Be sure to check out everything Game Time Sidekicks has to offer at GameTimeSidekicks.com. Game Time Sidekicks, helping fans show your colors and carry your team with unique gear you will actually use. We have all made the mistake of dropping or breaking our smartphones. See? But did you know that you can have it repaired for a fraction of the cost it takes to replace it? Well, you can, because iDrop is the area's leading mobile repair store, home of the 1 hour or less phone repair, 1 year parts warranty, and #1 customer service. Broken screens, cracked cameras, charging ports, batteries, you break it, we'll fix it. If you didn't break your phone, protect it with one of our leading accessories such as LifeProof, OtterBox, UAG, Incipico, Caseology, and Spec. Visit our West Hills location at 7115 Kingston Pike between Office Depot and Hardee's, or call 865-888-9740 and speak with our trained technicians to see how we can get your phone working today. JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
Hour 3 is powered by Low T Center and LowTCenter.com, reinventing men's healthcare. Feel like you again? Let the Low T Center help. Locations in Middle Tennessee, Murfreesboro, 2 locations in Nashville, Chattanooga, right here in Knoxville and in Tri-Cities. Low T Center can get you feeling like you did back when you were 25 years old. Back when you were 30 years old, 40 years old. If you're feeling not like yourself, your energy's not there, mental clarity is not there, you know you're not getting the proper sleep, you may have sleep apnea, let Low T Center help you like they helped me. Low T Center and LowTCenter.com. Let's get to our good friend Jay on the Be Dry Waterproofing Hotline. Jay, good morning.
Swain, good morning, man.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, I'm living, brother. I'm living.
Well, you doing great then.
Trying to get my oil changed, man.
Oh, you doing great then. You living? Oh, you good to go.
Every day above ground's a good day, Swain.
It's a great day.
Hey, guys, let me ask y'all something, man. Just on average, on any given year, because I understand schedules fluctuate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like next year's going to be a lot harder for us than it is this year because we got Oklahoma. Or some years we may get Auburn as our other divisional opponent, cross-divisional opponent, whatnot. But let me ask you, on any given year, just about, if Clemson, or let's say even Ohio State, for example, go 12-0, could theoretically, I believe, if Tennessee and Jeremy Pruitt were going 10-2, or any other SEC team, just about for that matter, but we'll just say Tennessee, would we not probably have more top 25 wins given the disparity between those two schedules?
Yeah, probably. And Clemson and Ohio State will be the ones getting in.
Exactly. How is this, to me, how is that not like a an obvious red flag for this playoff system that, if nothing else, we need to expand it, because the roads and the paths taken to get there are just not equal. It's not that Ohio State and Clemson aren't good teams, but the roads and the paths taken there are not equal. They have to go over a hill. We have to climb a mountain. Or like a lot of other SEC teams, we got to climb a mountain to get there. I mean, you heard about Dabo. He didn't even really game plan that hard for his conference championship game or Notre Dame. They were talking about that. He was just so locked in on Alabama because he knew that those other teams just didn't have the firepower to hang with him. His own conference championship game, that's how much of a joke it is. Imagine doing that for Georgia or Alabama in the SEC title game. I mean, you can't.
We live in the South. The South is known for football, Bible Belt, and good food, right?
Right.
You can be consuming the same food for a very long time, and you know you're not supposed to eat it. You know you're not supposed to consume it, but you do it anyways until you get that news from your doctor, and he tells you you can't eat this, you can't do that. She says you can't do this, you can't do that, and then you start making changes, right?
Right.
Because something bad may happen. Well, the college football playoff, I think people know that at some point it's going to have to be expanded, but we haven't hit that time where a team was left out that should have been in. Like, they haven't gotten it wrong. Like, they've gotten it right every single year, in my opinion. You know, they might have had a case to enter one team over another, but they haven't locked out the best team in the country. And the best team usually wins the whole deal. And so I think until it's like totally a wreck and the best two teams are not in, I think we're going to see 4 teams. I think we are approaching 8 teams, but for right now, I think it's 4. And it's our responsibility. It's Tennessee, it's Texas, it's USC, it's Penn State, it's Florida State, it's Miami, it's some of these Florida, some of these other programs, Texas A&M, LSU. We gotta join the party, because just like last year, it looks like it's gonna be Clemson and Alabama, and Ohio State and Oklahoma may be able to join the other 2 spots, but we need more programs, more schools challenging the top 2 programs in the country to really make it tough for the college football committee, so that way we do have to expand.
Well, you're right, Swain, but that's the whole thing. You know, those programs that you just mentioned, at least some of them for sure, we have to do a lot much more challenge.
We
Clemson
do, man.
ain't got to do Clemson ain't got to do anything.
You're right.
And that's what's, to me, so frustrating as a college football fan, especially right now, is that you would like to see the roads taken to the path equal, but life isn't fair. We all know that, and that's something I want to see addressed, because, I mean, my Lord, Butch Jones looked like Vince Lombardi when he played Big Ten teams. I mean, if that's not enough proof right there, I don't know what is.
Yeah, but there's nothing we can change about that. And we gotta work on us. We gotta get better, and we gotta just embrace that we're gonna have to play Alabama and Georgia and Florida every year. And so you gotta recruit with them. You better pay Jim Chaney 1.6 and pay other guys a lot of money to get guys here, and you gotta embrace it, man. You just gotta do it. I mean,
so what do you think about these Oklahoma games that we're scheduling non-conference? Are you for or against them, given our schedule?
I'm against it. I don't want to play those guys right now.
I mean, what if we were good, though? That's what I'm saying. Would you still be for it?
It depends on if Bama, Georgia, and Florida's good. I mean, you play those 3. Those are top 10 ranked teams. I mean,
exactly.
You don't really need to play Oklahoma. You just don't need to.
Exactly.
It don't make any sense.
Hey, man, y'all have football's here. That's all that matters at the end, though, man.
That's
y'all
right.
have a good day.
Thanks, Jay. I mean, you just don't need to. You can sit here and be macho and sound good. Oh, I want to play every top program in the country on my schedule. For what? Why? The plan is to win a championship. So you want to brag about being, 7-5 and playing tough schedule? Do you want to go win a championship like Ohio State and Clemson? Can't afford an injury on defensive line. Ben,
You spoke to this. We spoke to this. This is a difference in maybe Florida, but definitely Georgia, Alabama, and where we are right now. We got some good number ones. We got some good starters here and there. We got enough to win some games. But if you wanna compete for a championship, it's about the depth. You said this during the break, Ben. You know, everyone is freaking out about Emmett Gooden. And listen, rightfully so. Here's a young man that's been through hell and back to get here and has worked his tail off in summer and done everything that's asked of him to put himself in a position to play. And you just hate it for this young man if there is a serious injury. But you can tell that we're lacking the depth at that position just because of the reaction. I mean, you look at Florida, you look at some of the other programs, and I mean, they lose a top player, they just kind of replace.
Georgia kicks off Brenton Cox yesterday, and Georgia fans were like, oh well.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Next.
That's the equivalent of losing a J.J. Peterson or a Kavaris Crouch or a Henry To'oTo'o. Imagine if any of those three said, I'm going to transfer. I mean, it'd be doom and gloom, and rightfully so, because Tennessee doesn't have the same depth as these other schools. I mean, Inabi Anoma transfers to Houston after being suspended by the University of Alabama, and Alabama fans are like, next one up. And again, as we always say, it is unfair to compare programs to Alabama. They are just on a whole different planet than anybody else in college football, but you know, they have depth. They can overcome injuries. Tennessee cannot. Tennessee is trying to get to that point to where, you know, Emmett Gooden, somebody who really hasn't proven himself, he has a lot of potential, hasn't really done a whole lot. I mean, he didn't even start last year, despite being a very talented young man. Was expected to start this year. Looked good in the first couple of fall practices. Can't afford to lose him because Tennessee does not have the depth. Because then you need, if he does miss time, an extended period of time, you need Savion Williams to be what Savion Williams was thought to be heading into the season, heading into camp. You need Elijah Simmons to be a meaningful freshman along the defensive line. Darrell Middleton has to play. You have to have guys step up that just haven't stepped up yet. So it's the difference in a win or two, just the whole defensive line in general, in my opinion, because you look at the swing games, in my mind, there are 5 toss-up games, 50-50 games, and that is BYU, Mississippi State, South Carolina, Kentucky, and Vanderbilt. And I do think Tennessee beats Kentucky and Vanderbilt. I throw them into that 5 because
we haven't been doing it consistently.
Exactly,
yeah.
But Mississippi State, South Carolina are more 50-50 games to me, and you know, Mississippi State and South Carolina are strong along the offensive line and defensive line. And unfortunately, that is where Tennessee's weaknesses are. So this injury could be the difference in winning or losing those games.
Let's keep something in mind, too.
If he misses time. That's something that we need to keep in mind as we have this conversation.
Let me add to that. Medicine is advanced now, where guys can get back quicker and faster. You hear about Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine on this program, but PRP, that's a valuable tool that I wish was more around and used when I was in school, because it would have helped me play more healthier. It would have helped me in so many ways. So you have that resource. Like, guys can get back. So, again, we'll wait and see the details on Emmett Gooden. Pruitt is talking to the media, so he'll have no choice but to address it. He don't have to answer it truthfully or be, transparent about it, but I'm sure he'll be asked about Emmett Gooden.
We'll see at 3 o'clock if he's on the practice field.
Let's get to Volstorm on the B-Dry Waterproofing Hotline. Volstorm, good morning.
Don't sound so discouraged.
Do you blame him? You called in.
Ooh, gotcha.
Well, I mean, he's got to put up with you every day, so,
I've barely said anything.
Be a nice break from reality.
I've barely said anything since 8:15 with Chris Lowe
and
Don and Jay. I haven't needed to say anything. It is a good thing.
When I get on here, you start running your mouth.
I get to save my vocal cords.
Swain, I'm sure one of the best therapeutic treatments you got was what's coming up for you, the massage.
Yes, sir. In touch massage, man.
Well, at least you'll have a happy ending. Guys, you know what the hallmark of superior programs is? Quality depth.
Correct.
Used to, back when, Tennessee still had a quality program, one of the things we could always count on was, when you're playing your South Carolinas, your Kentuckys, your Vanderbilts, whatever, they're starting 22, maybe good quality and can go toe-to-toe. But when you start getting that third and that fourth quarter, that's when Tennessee's depth would kick in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you would take over opponents. And right now, we just don't have quality depth. We're getting quality players, but we just don't have depth right now.
Mm-hmm. I agree. No, I agree. And we don't have it across the board. We have it at certain positions, like we have it at wide receiver. We have it maybe at safety, but at corner probably not, because your third guy is a true freshman. So you got talent. That's why it's important for guys to stay healthy. It's super important, and luck plays a big part in how successful you are during the season. Now, you can create a lot of your luck by how you prepare and how hard you work, but there are some things that sometimes is just out of your control, and that's injury. So you need a little bit of luck on your side.
Yep. Guys, before I go, Swain, I'm a little disappointed. You asked Chris Lowe to say hi to Woody McCorvey for you, but considering he's going to Athens, why didn't you tell him to say hi to your boy Griff for you? See ya!
I hate you, Volstorm. You're trouble. You are trouble, Volstorm. I should have saw that coming a mile away. You're a troublemaker, Volstorm. Just a troublemaker. 865-255-03, B-Drive Waterproofing Hotline. Volstorm was on it today, man. Great phone call from Volstorm. One of his best, I will admit. Hour 3, powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com, reinventing men's healthcare.
Hour 3 of the Swain event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
When you see the happy face on our truck, you'll be smiling because you'll know that you're in love.
Tap water often contains harmful chemicals and additives. When you call for your free water test from Hiller, we'll show you exactly what's in your water and how to remove it. Enjoy cleaner, healthier water in your home. Visit happyhiller.com to schedule your free in-home appointment today.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
You're driving home, flashing blue lights in your rearview mirror. The next thing you know, you're being arrested for DUI. Be responsible, but remember, just because you're arrested doesn't mean you're guilty. Call DUI and criminal defense attorney Marcos Garza. Put this number in your phone right now, 865-540-8300, because you never know when you or a friend will need it. Don't say guilty, say Garza. 865-540-8300 and GarzaLaw.com.
Have you noticed lack of energy, motivation, and drive? Call the Low T Center and schedule a complete health assessment today. Whether you have sleep apnea and need a CPAP, or have low testosterone or low thyroid levels, Low T Center will get you feeling great again. If you're a man over 30 and haven't had an annual checkup, don't wait until you feel bad. Do yourself a favor and get a quick and easy health assessment today. Services are covered by most health insurance. Call 865-392-1388 or go to lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Hey, Mr. Mack, you heard the lowdown? Nah, homie, give me the word on what's going on. Tell them what it is, Big Will.
Mac, now the lowdown is no money down, only at the new Open Franklin Motors in Alcoa. No money down at the new Open Franklin Motors in Alcoa. Not $1,000 down, not $100 down, not even a nickel down. Low down, no down, only at the new Open Franklin Motors in Alcoa, 2 minutes from the airport. So fly on down to the new Open Franklin Motors next to Walmart, home of the original low down, no down payment. That is, why would you buy from anywhere else get you done. Good credit, bad credit, slow credit, we will get you approved. So come on down to 911 Louisville Road, the new old Ben Franklin Motors next to Walmart, or call 865-980-8216. Turn down for what?
At work? Can't call in? Don't feel bad. You can talk to the guys on the text box. It's part of the free Swain Event app.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com. Fueled by Daddy and Barbecue. Hour 3 is powered by Low T Center and LowTCenter.com. If you're just joining us, and if you have been under a rock as a Vol fan over the last 24 hours, you probably missed that Tennessee landed a huge basketball player commit in Keon Johnson. In-state player, is one of the top 30 or 40 players in the country. 6'5", athletic, defensive, really advanced on the defensive side of the ball at this age. You know, a lot of guys at this age, it's all about jacking up threes and dunking, and don't understand how important it is to be a complete player and play on defense and have pride in stopping someone else from scoring. Keon Johnson understands that. And so Rick Barnes does it again. Rick Barnes and Tennessee staff right now has the 5th best recruiting class in the country, and they're doing a really, really great job on the recruiting trail with the chance to land some more blue-chip prospects. So congratulations to Rick Barnes. Real recognizes real.
Yep.
Pure will always win.
Always.
Sometimes you wonder, man, do the good guys finish first any? It seems like always the buttheads and the folks that skate around the rules, do things the wrong way, it seems like they always win. And this is a good moment for the good guys. The folks that do things the right way. It may not be popular, but it's the right thing to do. And those guys won yesterday because Rick Barnes got one of the best players in the all of America. So congratulations to Rick.
Good basketball fit, good cultural fit, based off of what everybody says about the young man. Keon Johnson says that he is a great kid. And I do think there is obvious evidence of him being a good kid and having great character, in the sense of, in today's day and age of AAU basketball, it's all about going and playing for the AAU team with the Nike sponsorship and the Under Armour sponsorship, and these big branded AAU basketball teams. That is what it is all about for players of the caliber of a Keon Johnson, top 50, top 100 players. They're playing with elite AAU basketball programs. And then in terms of high school ball, these same players go to IMG Academy, go to the academies in Virginia and wherever. They go off and play at these big-time basketball, high school basketball programs, private schools, places like IMG Academy, as I mentioned. But instead of doing that, Keon Johnson stayed in Bell Buckle, Tennessee, and went to the Webb School, which is a small school, very small school, when he could have gone and transferred to play at any of these academies, private schools. And not only that, but with the AAU, he played for former Vol Mark Griffin, who was an assistant coach in his elite amateur basketball AAU program, and they did have a sponsorship from Adidas, I saw, but Keon Johnson could have left that and gone and played elsewhere with the big branded Nike AAU programs that you always see, but he didn't. He chose to stay with his roots and play with his friends and his high school teammates and people he is familiar with, and I think that is very telling of his character, in my opinion, just based off of how AAU basketball and high school basketball works these days.
I do think there's some value in leaving a small town, because you really can't truly grow without some resistance, without
going up against someone who's just as good as you, if not better, because iron sharpens iron. It just depends on the player and the situation. I mean, Lamonte Turner lived in Huntsville, was going to Sparkman High School, then went to MIG, and I'm pretty sure he got better being at MIG. So it just
MIG or IMG?
Well, I say MIG, IMG. So it just depends on the situation and the player. You can improve as a player, being where you from and staying where you are, or you can develop being a player that decides to go to IMG Academy. I'm just glad that he's evolved, and Tennessee's doing a good job recruiting and battling the programs like Memphis and Kentucky and Duke and all the other programs out there. Tennessee's not going anywhere. So really happy about that. There was a moment in time where Rick Barnes could have been somewhere else. He could have been at UCLA, and I think it's time to kind of move past that. And you ought to be happy. You ought to be thankful and gracious that a coach who once turned down Kentucky turned down another blue blood to stay at a place like Tennessee.
Yep.
And a lot of things factored into that. The people, the commitment to excellence by the administration and boosters and the community really, really played a factor in Rick Barnes staying. So it's time to move on. If you're mad about Rick Barnes, thinking about UCLA, get over it. UCLA is a blue blood program. You'd be crazy not to think about it. So be happy that he's here.
Can I add two things real quick?
Yes, sir.
Talk about the future of the backcourt. If Josiah James stays, and you have Josiah James, Keon Johnson, and Corey Walker next year, and you could potentially add a Jaden Springer to that, that is going to be serious problems for the SEC. And then the last thing I want to add is, in the opening segment, I talked about how folks were dogging Rick Barnes at the beginning of his tenure at Tennessee because he wasn't recruiting the same way as he was at Texas. And I thought at the time, within the first year or two of Rick Barnes being on Rocky Top and people dogging him for that, I thought that was unfair, completely unfair because of the state of Tennessee basketball. You have to fix Tennessee basketball before you can go out and get those elite recruits. And so I want to relate it to what everybody is kind of knocking T. Martin for right now. There are people out there that say, "Oh, why is T. Martin struggling to bring in receivers right now? Why is
where?
It's there. It's on social media. It's on message boards. We've answered questions about it on RTI's mailbag. That narrative exists. A very few, but it does exist. And for those who are questioning T. Martin or questioning, there are some that were upset about Jeremy Pruitt missing out on the 2 5-star corners that went to USC during his first recruiting cycle last year. Rick Barnes is a great example of having to fix the program first before him being a great recruiter can pay off.
Rick Barnes' plan from the get-go, was to develop a culture first, and then win with those guys that he had, and guys who are program builders, guys who will buy in, and then go out and track the blue chip players after you won with those players. That was the plan from day one, and that's the plan that he executed. And this is like a lesson. Rick Barnes' success at Tennessee could be used as a lesson. You're driving in your car. You're on 40, Highway 40. You're driving in your car. How can you know where you're going if you're looking over in someone else's car?
Can't.
Focus on what you're doing. Stop looking over at your neighbor, seeing what new lawnmower, new car he got. Focus on your business. Focus on your stuff. Stay in your lane. And if you want to relate that to football and recruiting, there's a profile set for the type of players that Tennessee want to go and recruit. You don't let 247 or Rivals or ESPN tell you who you should recruit, because those analysts are not coaching the players each and every day. not coaching them on Saturdays. You recruit based on what you need. Tennessee needs speed.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say the top 5 wide receivers in the country were all 6'4" and ran 4 640s. Does that mean we should get all 5 just because they're 5 stars? No.
If we need speed, get speed.
You go get speed. You go get a dude who's coachable, who has elite track speed, who can change directions. You develop him, and then boom, you have yourself something. So, yeah, that's a little silly.
Yes.
Johnny Doll on the text box says, if we stay healthy mostly this year and these young guys get experience and with another solid recruiting class, do you think next year our depth will be close to quality across the board instead of just a couple positions? I think another year you will have an entire roster of Durham Pruitt recruited players, but I still think you're going to be behind Georgia as far as depth. But talent-wise, you're gonna close the gap, and you'll have a chance to beat them. I think you really, really could. You know,
beat who?
I think you have a chance to beat Georgia
next year.
Yes, I think you should have a chance to beat Georgia. Tennessee should have beat Georgia in 2013, and the talent gap was not even funny. So you have a coaching staff that's really, really good. If the talent is close, anything can happen. Yeah, you'll have a chance to beat Georgia. Absolutely, that's what I said. I ain't stutter.
I was making sure.
I ain't stutter.
I disagree.
You disagree with having a chance to beat a team?
With Georgia and Alabama, yes. Next year. Year 4. I said it from the get-go. Too big of a gap right now. I think Georgia's a little further along than that 2013 Georgia team. But it is college football. Anything can happen.
Well, you agree then.
I was just trying to put a positive spin on it. I don't think Tennessee will have a great chance of beating Georgia next year when you look at the amount of talent that this current football team will lose, and this current football team isn't necessarily world beaters in the first place. You're going to be relying on a lot of young guys, and because of how many seniors that are being lost this year, I do think depth will still be an issue. But like I said, it's college football. Anything can happen.
Hour 3 will continue after this.
There I go, let my Southside soul rescue
Hour 3 of the Swain event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
While the players are gearing up for the gridiron, it's time for you to get geared up at Alumni Hall. Find the best selection of Nike, Nike Golf, Peter Millar, and all of those retro logos you love. And the 2 for $28 t-shirt deal? Game changer. And don't forget about the rest of your game day crew. There are plenty of options for the entire family and to upgrade that tailgate. Shop now at one of their 6 convenient locations in Tennessee or 24/7 at alumnihall.com. It's football time in Tennessee.
In debt? In too deep? Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union says, stop treading water and get out of the deep end. If you've got debt, make a splash and come get some cash. If Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union can refinance your car, boat, camper, motorcycle, credit cards, personal or home loan, they'll pay you up to $500. So come take the plunge right now. Refinance your loans. Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union will pay you. 5 convenient locations. Visit atfcu.com. Equal housing lender.
You're listening to the Swain event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com.
nothing southernisms, jacking 7, sipping, hoping that you're digging on me, talking Tennessee. You say the street lights only ever let you see the skyline. It's been a long time since the Milky Way, Jupiter and Venus took your breath away.
A good friend Robert on the text box says the Webb School has barely over 300 kids, and that's 6th to 12th grade. When I played at Webb, we struggled to compete. Keon is much more than a great ball player. He's a natural-born leader. You can see the guys want to play better and bust it when Keon is on the floor. He totally changed the culture of athletics at Webb and led them to back-to-back state Final Four appearances. So proud of this kid. If you were to create a Rick Barnes type of player, you'll create Keon Johnson. Go Vols. Great message from Robert. Thank you. Volin Birmingham says, I think we have a better chance next year than, I guess it says this year, to win big for sure. Next year we should have JG back for a second year, and the year after we will be starting a new quarterback. I just think under Pruitt each year, as you build a culture and as you recruit, you'll have a better chance to compete against the big boys because you'll be adding depth. So this will be a different football team next year. There'll be different strengths of this football team, but I just think that another 25 players added, and maybe you get some transfers, you get D'Angelo Gibbs back. That gets you closer and closer to being able to compete at a high level. Let's get to the phones. Who we got there?
Neil and Mafia.
Neil and Mafia. Good morning.
Morning, Swain.
Good morning, individual Mafia.
Now, Ben, man, come on. Talking about we ain't going to beat Georgia and them next year.
Whoa.
Swain, this is
Have a chance. Have a chance. There's a difference between
Swain,
saying we're going to beat them and having a chance to beat them.
This is how he gets all them nicknames.
That's
Alabama, Texas A&M,
That's fine.
Memphis Tigers.
Even though I've never taken up for Penny, I actually make fun of Penny all the time. Memphis, that's a good one. My favorite one is Texas A&B or Texas A&M Ben.
Texas A&M Ben.
That one's my favorite one.
I noticed something yesterday when you guys were doing around the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
And it leads to recruiting. The whole system has been called into question. And I listened at some of these transfers from some of these great recruiting classes from the state between Mississippi and Georgia. And I noticed that when they would transfer, they would go to Houston, Arkansas State, Illinois, Cincinnati, SMU. They're not transferring and going to Penn State. You know, they're not transferring and going to Florida State. They're not transferring and going to Texas. And so, you know, the narrative that when you commit to this certain school, you get bumped up, does seem a little suspicious, doesn't it?
Oh, it does.
It was like they fell off the map.
No, it does. I mean, and I would understand. I mean, there's thousands of high school players, and so if you may not know of one, and this player goes on a camp trip to one school, and a place like Alabama gives him a committal offer, I mean, I guess he at least has to be a 3-star, at least, right? At least.
At least, but you know, you look at some of their recruiting rankings, and you don't even see any 3-stars listed. You know, it's all high 4-stars, you know, and 5s, and you know, and all this kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, you know, you got like 5, 6, 7 over like a year and a half. That, I mean, that's a huge fall off. Those probably wouldn't even have been by an impartial service. Might not have even rated a 3-star.
Maybe not. That's why you got to take it with a grain of salt.
I don't know, man. I'm trying real hard to stay a believer in all this system and everything. And man, it just looks like some of it is just throwing darts at a board.
Yeah, I think the best approach to have in the Mafia is not to think it's gospel, but not think that they're totally wrong either. I mean, somewhere in the middle, and they're gonna be wrong on some kids. I mean, the NFL has been wrong on first round picks for decades, and they'll be wrong this year. I mean, it happens. Kids just don't pan out the way they're supposed to pan out based on what they've done in high school and how they test. I mean, it happens all the time. But for me, only thing that matters is that is Tennessee recruiting championship quality players. And if they feel like a player is a championship quality, can help them build a championship culture, that's all that matters to me. And I don't care if he's a 3-star, 4-star, or 5-star. Because there are guys like a Jalen Hyatt. He could be a 3-star, a 4-star, a 5-star. It wouldn't matter to me. The kid runs a 4-2-8, 4-3-1. And he can change directions. And we have T. Martin that can coach him up. For me, that's all that matters. That's just me. So I just don't take it with a grain of salt, Neil Mafia. But I do understand where you're coming from when you look at some of the stories we've seen. We've seen guys go from unranked to voila, 4-star, committed to Alabama, or he's committed here and he drops. Like I understand feeling that way, but I just don't think that a recruiting service is dropping a player based on where he goes. Not dropping a player. Maybe adding a star? Yeah, I can see that. But now I don't think someone is dropping a player because they're committed to Tennessee. It's hard for me to believe that.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the recruiting rankings don't matter. I mean, just really simple as that. I care more about what Jeremy Pruitt and the coaching staff thinks of players than what 247 or Rivals or ESPN does, because as Swain has mentioned several times, they have their own set of rankings, and that's the most important rankings, and only hindsight will tell us whether they were right or wrong. But that's going to take 2 or 3 years.
But if you want to know about a player, if you want to know information about a player, you're not going to get it from the coaches because they can't speak about a player until they're signed. And even then, you're only going to get a little bit unless you go to the recruiting celebration. So the recruiting service, they do have value. Again, you just don't need to treat it as gospel. You don't need to sit here and say either that they'll know what they're doing and they're not valuable. They are valuable. They're important, but you got to find a gray area. You got to find some balance here. That's kind of the best way that I would approach it. I have not graded kids and rated kids as far as 247, but I have worked inside of the evaluation arena across the country before. And I've seen these guys at events. I've seen them put in the work. I've seen it. So I'm not down on them like maybe some folks are, just because I've been involved inside of it. 865-255-03. See if we got any good stuff here on the Be Dry Waterproofing Hotline. We don't have any time at all, actually. Man, that was quick. Wow. It's time to go. My goodness. It is time to go. Time flies when you're having fun. Hopefully we will get a little bit of some clarity on Emmett Gooden. Talks about him possibly being hurt. Prue will talk to the media, and hopefully we'll get some information. And then 7 a.m. in the morning, we'll be back to talk about it right here on the Swain event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. For Ben McKee, I'm Jason Swain. Peace and love.